Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey, here we are. It's the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on a Tuesday. We are back again, me and G. Bush. Brad in today.
Yup.
Brad, how are you?
I'm doing good, Bull. How are you?
I'm great. Are you ready for the playoffs, the NBA
Absolutely.
playoffs?
It's that time of year.
Brad, you got to when you can bring the drop top out.
Drop top.
When you can bring the drop
What is
top
the
out
drop
in the
top?
spring.
That's for the 80s, man.
What is the drop top? I don't know what that is.
Brad, like, listen, bro, I don't have a drop top. Stop playing with
got
me.
kids now.
Before people start, my drop top money's in Maryland.
I got kids now. You talk about
What is that? What does that mean, drop top?
A convertible. You talk about
see?
you talk about a time before
you
when I
say-
was young.
That was
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
That's all gone. That's all gone.
Those days are long
when
behind
I
us.
was young.
All right, a lot to get to today. We're going to do a Cavs-Knicks draft, essentially ranking the top 10 players between the two teams as the Cavs get ready to play their first playoff series without LeBron in a very, very long time. It starts Saturday at 6 p.m. We got the play-in game starting today, so we'll get into all that. We'll get to the Guardians. I was looking ugly early, but they pull one out late. And so plenty to get to today, but we begin... we'll begin with the Browns in a second. Some news on Deshaun Watson and some news on Greg Newsome that just kind of started brewing in the last half hour. First, let's get to my bet because I crapped the bed yesterday.
You crapped the bed. You were riding with me in my anti-Orioles this week. Anti-A's today. We'll get to that in a sec. But first, I need to tell everybody that Bulls Bet of the Day is brought to us by Bet Rivers Sportsbook. It is the place to be for every single game. Right now is the perfect time to join Bet Rivers Sportsbook because when you use deposit code SPORTS, you receive a second chance bet up to $500. You can get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball and hockey to help you win big. Check them out at betrivers.com or download the Bet Rivers app today for the latest lines, odds, and boosts.
And Aditi Kinkabwala will make her debut on my Bet Rivers podcast, The Bullpen with Adam the Bull, tomorrow. She'll be on the podcast, so we look forward to that. The bet I lost yesterday. I had the Padres. They ended up getting smoked by the Mets. I think it was 4-0 or whatever it was. But today's bet, here we go. Got it? I'll take the Orioles minus a run and a half. They've got young pitcher Grayson Rodriguez making Grayson Rodriguez. That sounds wrong in my head. Grayson
That's what it is.
Rodriguez, right? Why does
Yeah.
it sound wrong in my head?
Because it's two different names. Grayson sounds like a
Like
middle of the hoity-toity dude.
Like
that
from
goes to-
Avon Lake.
Yeah,
or,
he a Rocky River.
and
or-
Rodriguez.
And Rodriguez
don't
is,
sound like a guy from Avon
he's
Lake.
from the mean streets of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. That's why it sounded wrong in my head, but it is actually his name. It's his second major league start. Obviously, the Athletics are as awful as I thought they'd be. What are they now? 2-10, 2-8, 2-9, something like that.
I only know what they are against the 1.5 spread
Yeah.
line, which, by the way, I'm up $74 so far.
Nice. They've been
on my
getting
anti-A's
They're
bets.
2-8.
They're 2-8, and they won their first game, so they've lost 8 of 9 since then.
Wow.
All right, so Orioles to win by 2 or more runs today. Guys, let's get right to it. Some news brewing from the Browns. Number one, Deshaun Watson.
First of all, before we talk
Yeah.
any Browns, we got to remind you about Lincoln Electric.
Of course
Lincoln
we
Electric
do.
is our sponsor of Brown Talks. Lincoln Electric now hiring for great jobs, the experts in all manufacturing and welding fields of electric needs. Lincoln Electric, check them out. Let's
All
talk
right.
about Watson.
Yeah, let's talk. We'll get to Greg Newsome and what's kind of brewing with him. But first, Deshaun Watson. So there's two, we've kind of forgotten about all the off-the-field stuff because it's mostly been settled. But there are still 2 remaining civil cases. In terms of Deshaun Watson's ability to play, I believe they're a non-factor. I think they're all incorporated in his suspension that's already now behind him. But he does have to, from a legal perspective, deal with these 2 cases that are still going on. There was supposed to be a deposition yesterday. Apparently, the other lawyer, is it the same guy still, or is this a different lawyer?
Different.
This is not Busby. Do you want me to give you the kindergarten explanation
Yeah,
of what
go
happened
ahead.
real quick?
Yeah, right.
We spoke to 2 lawyers yesterday to help us
Yeah.
dive into this because I am not a legal expert. And Stevie, of this and your next graphic. But there was initially a deposition set for April 6th. That's last Thursday.
Yeah.
The plaintiff's attorney was sick, so they had to reschedule.
Yeah.
The plaintiff's attorney asked to have it held yesterday on the 10th a day they knew Watson would be unable to attend.
Why was he unable? Why would he be unable to attend?
Those details
We
were
don't
not
know.
out, but it was a
Okay.
day that they had agreed upon previously that was not something that would work
Gotcha.
for Watson's
So he's
schedule.
playing games.
The Texas judge then quashed that motion, said, no, we're not going to make Deshaun be at that April 10th
Right.
deposition hearing. That's what the quash means.
Yeah.
It just kind of delays it, pushes it down the road. The new date for that deposition is yet to be determined. However, it is a tough look for the plaintiff's attorney intentionally picking a day that was previously agreed upon that Watson would be unable to attend, and now this just gets kicked
I mean,
down the line.
it's all
until
lawyer
what's
tricks
next.
and nonsense. They're just, they're just trying to get more money in their pockets. I don't know. Do we make anything of this? To me, it's nothing with nothing. Brad, anything from you? What do
No, I think that they will agree upon a date in the future that they both can attend to. Right? It's not that he's getting out the deposition. He's going to be deposed at some point in time. It's probably a 1 day, 2 day max deposal, in what I'm thinking, and then at the end it's just going to go its normal course.
Yeah.
So I'm not making more out of it than it is.
Are you guys surprised that they haven't been able to settle these last two cases? Because you'd think at this point they'd want to settle.
No, I'm listening to Watson's attorney. He said we're not paying any more cases that we don't think that that people think that we're guilty on, right?
Yeah.
He said I'm not doing that no more. Right?
I would just assume, though, at some point, if you're Watson, you just, like with the original settlements, you just
No,
wanna
because
move
some of the
on.
stuff, Bull, I saw
Yeah.
some of the stuff that's coming out of their camp that I'm reading online.
Yeah.
They're like, this is real
It's-
fishy stuff
it's-
going on here,
With
right?
these two cases.
Yeah,
it's like-
at least it is one.
Okay.
For the
Oh, it's not the
deposition.
same lawyer for these two remaining cases?
No, this one in particular is for the 26th accusation, who is the one not represented by Tony Busby.
Okay, so there's still one left out there with Busby.
One Busby, one
and then this
non-Busby.
guy is a different
Yeah.
attorney with a different woman. Okay.
Yeah, I'm. At some point, you just say, "No, I'm not doing that." You want to get everything done and out the way, Bull. But sometimes when you look at the case that's put in front of you and you hear some of the, I guess, details of it, you're like, come on, man, like you. And then it just seems like a lawyer that's playing tricks, He's trying to play the Busby role, like he's looking at his playbook, seeing if that playbook will work. Now, if you already decided that the man can't be there, why would you say I'm sick? But then I'm sick today, but tomorrow, when would you like to reschedule? Tomorrow. You do know we've already said we can't be here on that day. So it's at the end of the day, they'll deal with it. I don't think it's a big deal. I just think it's the normal goings of what you're talking about with lawyers. Like you said, no one should be fooled. It's all about getting the maximum amount of dollars in this case at the end of the day. And the more the lawyer gets for the plaintiff, the more he stands to make, or he or she stands to make. So
Right. And that doesn't necessarily mean, we don't know. At this point, I'll be honest, I'm not paying attention to these two specific cases, as you can tell. I wanted to be behind, and so we could just completely move on. But ultimately, it is all about money, which is obvious because it's not a criminal case. It's a civil case. The only result here is that Deshaun Watson is going to have to pay money or not pay money. I mean, there's nothing else that's going to happen. So ultimately, you would think they'd want to settle. But maybe, as you say, maybe this one particular case with this other, obviously, if nothing else, Rusty Hardin thought the original cases, or at least many of them, had some level of merit, or he wasn't able to disprove them because they agreed to settle. If this one is so ridiculous,
I don't know that that's the case either. The level of merit, I don't think is the case. I think at some point he made a decision to just
move it behind.
behind.
I mean, that's fair. We don't know.
Right.
Who knows what the hell happened? I think everybody here is. Let's be honest. I think most people here don't care at this point.
Right.
I think everybody just kind of wants to move on.
it's not the same type of urgency as it was last year.
No, because there's no suspension hanging out there. That's over.
I think from what I'm picking up here, I think there's a difference between the two cases here. Right?
It seems that way.
This one here seems to be on another scale, and the other one is totally different. This was one that was one of the originals, and she was like, "I'm not taking a plea on this. I'm not cutting a deal with this. Right? We're going all the way on this."
Yeah. What was that, Mikey?
When we talk about Newsome, our guy Brad, who we like, it's getting ugly out there for him. Newsome is responded to his tweet. Mary Kay has come out. Are we done with Watson? Are we ready to move on? To
Yeah,
the
I think
event?
we're all ready to move on.
Yeah. Let's get to this new joint.
All right, so let me set this up with what you haven't seen in the last few minutes.
All right, well, let me start the begining part.
Okay.
Because I can get there. So Brad Stainbrook is a young guy. I don't know Brad. He covers. He's been in the last year, I would say, started to make a little bit of a name for himself covering the Browns, and good for him. He's a young guy. Is he still in college?
I believe he's still in college.
So he's a young guy. All right, he's trying to, come up here.
Trying to cut his teeth a little bit.
And I'll be honest, if I don't know you I've been covering the Browns here for 12 years. I didn't know who he was when he first started. I didn't really give him any credibility in the beginning because I didn't know who the hell he was. And then about a month ago, whatever it was, he actually had the story about the Browns signing Hurst. He broke that story. Mm-hmm. He was the first one that had it. So I put out a tweet there. I think you did too.
Yeah.
We gave him a little props for that.
Threw him a little bone.
So good for him. He broke that story. It gave him at least some level of credibility in terms of covering the Browns. Well, today he tweeted this out, and this was at 10:27, which is 44 minutes ago. He said, source, Browns Greg Newsome would like to be traded. Now, he didn't say he's demanded a trade, but he said he'd like to be traded. And this was it was weird timing in a way because they just announced, I think yesterday, that Greg Newsome was hosting a charity softball game with the Browns. And even though there'd been some rumblings in the past that Greg Newsome was unhappy in playing the slot corner role, I think we all thought it was behind us, so this seemed odd. Now, he did sign with Drew Rosenhaus, who's obviously a big-time power agent.
When did he do that?
Today. So
about 10 minutes before Brad tweeted that out for the record.
Right, exactly. Welcome, Greg Newsome. There's Drew Rosenhaus. That was right. So then 10 minutes later, Brad puts that out. Then Adam Schefter puts out this tweet. You got the Adam Schefter tweet here, the first one?
I have all the tweets. As soon as you start going, we'll pull
all
it
right,
up.
so bring up the Adam Schefter tweet. About 10 minutes after Brad Stainbrook put that out, he said, Schefter says, amid speculation that his client Greg Newsome wants to be traded, agent Drew Rosenhaus met today in Cleveland with the team to discuss Newsome's future role there. Quote, Greg is happy to be with the Browns, Rosenhaus said. Everything was very positive, and Greg is happy with his. Do we have a continuation of that or no?
No, it's the new Twitter update, but he's very happy with his role in the Browns, is what that is.
And it was expected to be at the first offseason, OTAs is this coming Monday. That's correct? Or next Monday, next week.
On Monday, and he is
expected to be there. Okay.
Now, since then, here's what you've missed.
Yeah.
Well, Greg Newsome responded to Brad's tweet himself. Let's take the Greg Newsome tweet, Anthony. Pull it up. This is what Greg Newsome said in response to this. Okay, y'all. Sit back a minute and let's think about this together. I just launched a softball game in Cleveland, laughing face emoji. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. It didn't make sense.
Mary Kay has also come out explicitly, and you can take Mary Kay's tweet, Anthony, cut to it live, saying Browns Greg Newsome has not asked to be traded. So I think we're going to put it officially to rest that Greg Newsome has not requested a trade.
Okay, well, that's good. Brad dropped the ball here.
But I will say that there is some semantics here. There is semantics. It's a lot to be said.
That's fair.
That he didn't ask for a trade. He said he would like to be traded, according to what Brad says. So my thing here is, it's bad timing for Greg because they just got here today and they trying to maneuver, trying to get settled. Like they trying to be like, hey, because here at this point, Bull, what good would it be to ask for a trade right now, right before the draft?
Right. It feels to me like, listen, I'm sure Brad is just coming up. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I doubt he just made this up out of thin air.
Yeah.
Okay? Probably somebody told him that Greg Newsome would like to be traded. Now, he probably should not have tweeted that out because he didn't demand the trade.
Right.
And with the softball thing yesterday, and you see him hire Drew Rosenhaus, so I could understand the connection there. Brad probably would have been better off not tweeting that because, yes, maybe he does want to be traded, but he's not. If he's not asking for a trade, it's not really a story.
And Brad,
let me give you a quick example. Sorry to cut you off, but there was a player. I'm not going to say it was. I've mentioned this story a couple times, but I don't know if I've said it here. I'll never admit who the player was. But there was a player who played for the then Indians for a long time here, okay? And I met him in spring training a couple of years in a row, and we were talking off the air, and he goes, man, I hate it in Cleveland. He wanted to be out. He never said it publicly. He never demanded a trade. He played here for a while. He was a popular player.
And then I got up out of here.
And eventually he left via free agency. But you would have nobody ever. This never became public. I wasn't going to tweet out this player wants out of here. And again, he told me something in confidence. But sometimes you may want something. There's a big jump from want to be traded to demanding to be traded.
I want $1 million, but I'm not going to demand Steve Becker pays me $1 million.
Well, that's different. I don't think that's a perfect example. But I think Brad probably dropped the ball here.
Well, see,
not you, Brad. But
no, Brad. Sometimes this is why I don't break news. I'm an opinion guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of people give you a lot of stuff that you know that is useless.
That's
facts.
right.
Here, let me. There's
It's
a
crazy.
lot going on here.
You're right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Drew Rosenhaus is a guy that's going to play hardball with the Browns. Note to the Browns and Bria.
He coming with
This smoke is coming your way.
Oh, eventually.
It's just not right now. But the smoke is coming your way.
Yeah.
News to everybody else out here in fan land. A lot of players don't like where they are.
That's right.
They don't.
That's right.
They don't say nothing.
Yeah.
They like, man, this ain't my type of place.
That's right.
I'm a Seattle guy. I'm not from no Midwest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back out that way, right?
I'm from down
100%.
south.
That's how they do,
100%.
right? This
Not
is
uncommon.
It's not uncommon.
That's right.
G. Newsome. You be careful here, son.
Hey,
Be careful here, son, because you drop words like this, that comes out before the draft.
Yep.
Now, when I'm in the draft room, I'm looking side-eyed at Greg Newsome. Like, let me see what's happening. Is this salvage job, a Rosenhaus?
Man,
Because now I go to the draft board. Maybe I wasn't thinking corner.
Yep. Look.
Maybe I'm thinking a corner.
Yeah. I still wouldn't trade. I'm not trading
No, but
him.
I'm saying here.
Yeah.
I have to prepare here. When you get caught blindsided, it's how you get done up here.
And I think, and let's be clear, man. See, this is why I love this outlet. Look, hey, I'm speculating. I'm just reading the tea leaves. What you mean? This is what I do for a living. Look, man.
Be careful.
Hey, when they put his name in that Jerry Jeudy, when they had his name in the Jerry Jeudy mix, it was almost like, oh, for real? I'm in a Jerry Jeudy trade. Nah, here's what we gonna do. Give me Drew Rosenhaus. So they got Drew. Now, mind you, this is the same kind of move Duke Johnson did. Duke Johnson, when he was here, he was behind all them running backs, remember? Mm-hmm. He was behind Kareem Hunt and Chubb. They was like, Duke Johnson, I'm sorry, bro. He got Rosenhaus, and what he did, he came out during camp, and he was talking about, I'm going to sit out. Now, here's the thing. Newsome don't have leverage right now. The only way leverage he gets is if he gets to camp. And if he gets to camp and say Emerson gets hurt, right? He could do something. But if he gets to camp and he's still slotted in here, the only leverage he has is to sit out.
Listen, he's not a good enough player to sit out. He is not a good enough player to sit. He ain't sitting out.
You're not being disparaging.
Yeah.
Like here, let me tell you where you are.
Yeah.
Let me tell you where you are. You a good up-and-coming dude.
Yeah.
But you still want to prove it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's a nice player.
Right. That's
but
like me demanding. That's like me the time I demanded more time in Chicago. I'm demanding time. Oh, you're demanding what?
Yes.
More time.
Right.
But here's the thing. Here's the ticket. And here's the thing. Here's why it's believable.
Right.
You was drafted number 1. So you're a first-round pick. Brad will tell you, it's a certain level of moxie. It's a certain level of arrogance that I am a first-round pick.
That lasts about 30 seconds after you get through the door, but keep coming.
The audacity, the audacity to have this man, Martin Emerson, who's very good. I don't know. See, I don't think, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Greg Newsome saw Martin Emerson and was like, oh, this dude different.
He wasn't worried.
This dude different. And then Emerson came in and never relinquished that spot.
And Greg Newsome actually had a decent season. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But
we like Greg Newsome.
Greg Newsome, listen, I think it's clear Greg Newsome didn't demand to be traded. It's clear he's not 100% happy. You don't hire Drew Rosenhaus for no reason.
If everything was all good, Bull.
And it's not like he's negotiating a new deal. He's only through 2 years of his 4-year deal. Or actually, and
5.
Potential 5.
Potential 5.
So it's not like they can't even negotiate an extension right now.
Nowhere.
So obviously there's some reason. So I don't think Brad is completely wrong here. Greg Newsome, we know in the past, has not been completely happy, and he hired Drew Rosenhaus.
He just jumped out the window too early.
Yeah,
he jumped out too early.
Yes.
He needs an advocate for the things that you were about to talk about. He don't want to be in that slot.
That's right. They don't make as much money.
He want to be right on one-on-one coverage. That's where he want to be.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have. He need a mouthpiece for that.
Yeah.
Right. He not doing my man in Baltimore's move.
Right.
Like, I'm not speaking for myself.
Because Rosenhaus, what he can do, Rosenhaus can go back to other teams and say, hey, I got Greg Newsome. He's the number one corner
for you.
What you think he worth? And
yeah.
He could put the two sides together. But the Browns, they're not even thinking about negotiating. They're like, you're gonna show up to camp.
That's it.
And you're gonna do what
you got no power.
we're gonna do.
And Drew Rosenhaus, like he's not gonna say, yeah, Greg's not happy, because everybody else can be like, who gives a crap if Greg Newsome's happy? He, as you said, like with the Ravens, we were talking about this. If Lamar Jackson plays, we'll probably predict him to win, 8 games, maybe 9, maybe even 10.
Yep.
Without him, we're picking him to win 4 or 5 or 6. The Browns win. Greg Newsome's a nice player. We all like him. We're not changing our win-loss prediction based on whether Greg Newsome's on the team or not.
No.
Doesn't change a single game.
See, now in time is different, too. Like, the team, morphed. Like,
yeah.
Like before it was like we used to go crazy over minuscule parts.
Oh, yeah.
These defensive, we need him to play. And now you got a quarterback. Now it's like, well, I mean, you're not.
Shout out to my boy G. Newsome for being strategic, though.
Oh yeah.
You got to be strategic now, because everybody got to represent their own interests here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Greg Newsome is the CEO of Greg Newsome, right? And Jimmy Haslam is the CEO of the Cleveland Browns, right? And Stefanski is the CEO of the coaching staff, right? So everybody got to represent their interests here, and sometimes if you can't do it directly, you have to get a mouthpiece to do it for you.
And the only reason he made so Brad made a misstep, Greg Newsome made a misstep when he was tweeting back and forth with people and they was asking him questions and he was saying no.
Yeah.
No,
he made a mistake there. No doubt.
He should have not said nothing.
Well, clarify that for people that might not know what you're talking about.
So Greg Newsome was tweeting back and forth with individuals, and he said, "Hey, are you going to play the slot?" And he said, "No." Then he doubled down on it a couple of weeks later. Like somebody came back and asked him again, like, "So you cool with playing the slot?" No. Now here's the problem with that. You should have just went and got Drew Rosenhaus and chilled.
That's right.
If you would have did that. See, we wouldn't know what was going on, maybe some savvy fans, but the organization would have known.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, G, as you said, we'll go to you a second, Mike. There's levels to this thing.
Levels.
Lamar Jackson's on this level. Lamar Jackson pretty much can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yep.
And eventually, like the Ravens, at the very least, he could take the franchise tag. Like, people want Lamar Jackson. He's a superstar. He's won an MVP. Yeah, he's had some injury problems. Play hasn't been quite as good, but he's still up here, okay? Greg Newsome, you're basically just a guy. I mean, nice player, potential. We like him. Nobody wants to get rid of him. But you can't stir the pot and be a pain in the ass when you're Greg Newsome.
I mean, even Jalen Ramsey got traded. Ramsey, his name is probably on name brand recognition, probably the number one corner when you say
well,
name.
you have to think that
he got traded.
Greg Newsome knows where his strong suits are, right? And he's saying me playing in the slot is not helpful to my long-term career here. I've got to get back to that.
Yeah.
I've got to get back to that one-on-one coverage.
Right.
Is where I'm gonna thrive at, right? That's where I get that.
And maybe the Browns feel that way too, and maybe they will trade him, but they're not going to have their hand for it.
It's like telling Brad, you know what? We want you to play 75% of the time. You like?
I like what? What did you say?
No, 4. I'm down there crashing with them.
I said, you want me to do what?
Yeah, right. Like you looking around like that ain't gonna get it
give you
done.
some spot time.
Not 75%.
But you're not gonna small ball me up out of here.
Let's see what Mikey has to say about this. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Brad, I actually have a question about that, and this question comes from us from the USFL. If you haven't checked out the Summer Football League coming to Canton, Ohio, and around the country, make sure you check them out. The USFL, a major form of entertainment this summer. And Brad, this was going to be something we talked about tomorrow, but while you're here and Newsome is in the news, I might as well ask you. As a former player, and Gigo just alluded to that, how would you want your coaches to approach you about that conversation? Put yourself in Newsome's shoes. How would you want Stefanski and Schwartz to approach you about playing the slot? Or how should that conversation go from the player-coach perspective?
Well, I would say this from the player-coach perspective. The player has no idea. He's swimming. He doesn't know what the game plan is. How are you going to help me get better? Because I got to eat here. I got to feed families and everything else, right? So how are you helping me? Because you want me to go out here and run myself into this brick wall for you. The coach should really pull him to the side and be like, look, man, this is what I need out of you, right? Stay with me. I got your best interest at heart here. Trust me. Give me what you got,
right?
And it's gonna be okay. Somebody gotta tell him it's gonna be okay.
But hasn't that already happened? Because he did it last year.
A lot of times, let me tell you this, Bull.
Yeah.
Them coaches don't say nothing to you.
No, you may be right, but if that was gonna happen, it should have happened last year.
Yeah,
you played slot last year.
You're expecting Stefanski to be some veteran. These are veteran moves.
Stefanski just started talking this offseason.
Right.
He had cue cards before.
It's also Jim Schwartz, not Joe Woods
moves,
now.
Mikey. So a veteran coach will pull you to the side, right, and say, here, I'll give you a case in point, and I keep going. I always go back to Maryland basketball. Brenda Freeze, coach of Maryland's women's basketball, went to Diamond Miller and said, when everybody was bailing out of here, Angel Reese and them was bailing out of here, you stay with me. It's going to be okay. I'm going to get you where you're trying to go, which was the WNBA. Last night, Diamond Miller was the #2 draft in the WNBA draft last night.
Nice.
Because stay with me, I'm going to get you where you want to go. That's the conversation a real veteran coach.
Yeah.
She's been in the game 21 years, has to tell a player, like, I got your interest at heart.
Right. Well, now they got Jim Schwartz at DC, so maybe that conversation, if it didn't happen, will happen now. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead with that. That Jim Schwartz, who said that comment? Did you say Jim Schwartz?
I said Jim Schwartz is there, which changes everything, too. It's not the Joe Woods conversation. It's the Jim Schwartz conversation.
I remember Tim Kish was from Arizona. He came to OU. He came there after other coaches left, right? And he had us playing attacking upfield. I'm like, man, this is great. This is what I do. I ain't trying to play the run like that. I need to, because quarter sacks is where it get it done.
Right.
And then we got another, after we played that year, we went 1-something. They got him up out of here quickly. 1-something. Bye. And then he got the job at Indiana. And I'm like, dang, man, I learned firsthand what the coaching fraternity was. Right at Indiana, my boy got him that I played college with. He's like, yeah, bro, he got us out here getting touched too. So, yeah. Then they brought in Tim DeRuyter. Now, Tim DeRuyter was at OU, but he eventually went on to coach Von Miller at Texas A&M. See, coach be everywhere. So when we got Tim DeRuyter, he came in and was like, he just was like, oh, you talk too much. you talk way too much, bro. You be talking like I don't care how many plays you make. You talk way too much, and you be injured. And I'm like, oh, for real? They're like, oh, he's like, yeah, and for real. So now I'm looking at him like, well, my position is threatened because now I'm getting up there. I'm a sophomore. I'm a redshirt junior at this point. They got young boys, young pups coming in. They starting to recruit from other different positions, other different states.
Head on the swivel.
And now I'm looking around like, yo, what's the deal? So now you going out. Now you got to practice harder. Yeah. Now you got to put your head down. You got to come in front and sprints because now the coach don't get hurt. Don't be in the necessarily. They don't have to like you like that. They didn't recruit you. So when you look at Greg Schwartz, they come in. All of a sudden, G New is like this. If I'm at that nickel position, if I perform too well at nickel, he's gonna keep me there, right? So even if it was Joe Woods, if Joe Woods knew him, he could be like, yeah, I don't know. We seen tape on him on the outside, right? Maybe we should bring him to the outside. They ain't gonna outright cut you. But when you got a new coach, everything's a blank slate. And when you inside, you got to think of it like this. Tyvis said it the other day. He said, you part of the run fit. The slot corner is integral to the run fit. And he's been sleight of frame. He's been injury prone. Yeah. Do you want to be coming up hitting these big backs?
So to your point, for a guy like Newsome, let me tell you something. This is how you get longevity and paid. One, all right, so maybe they have you playing out of the position you want to play. Well, guess what? Ball out at that position. Mm-hmm. Give them the business, right? Even though you're mad about it, give them the business. Yeah. The other thing, be available for every game. I'm not
that's
missing.
huge.
I'm not missing the game here.
Yeah.
Third thing is, y'all win some games. You win some games. Now you giving Rosenhaus the ammunition you need.
Right,
now go out and shop this. My man, now he not happy.
Right.
He part of a number of top 5 defense.
And I think it's an interesting point you bring up, G, that like, you know, we're all you want, when you're a player at whatever level, you want your team to have success, but you want to have individual success.
Right.
You want to make money. I get it. And and it's an interesting thought that he's like, well, I better not play too well at slot, because then I'm going to stuck there for the rest of my career. I'm not going to make as much money. However, I think he's in a point in his career where if he doesn't play well enough, like he's guaranteed
That's
nothing.
why I said he has to.
He can't think
play,
about
he
that
has
like
to ball out. He's got to play well.
Yes, 100%.
Period. You
Yeah.
got to be available for every game. Period.
Yeah.
And the second
That's
thing
been a
is,
huge issue for the Browns secondary
and then
across
the
the
last
board.
thing is, the Browns have to win.
Yeah.
You put those 3 things together, guess what? Now in the offseason, like, nah, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Because then other teams say, well, I want that guy. He's part of a winning culture.
Well, then
he knows how to win.
the other thing is, now you have a guy to say, well, hold on, he's valuable now because he can play the slot, he can play the one-on-one.
That's right. That's true.
He's a valuable piece now.
He's shown some
That's
different.
true.
And the cool
and
thing,
then he's young.
you can't think of it. You can't think of it. That, like, I don't. People tell me, like, man, like the stuff y'all think about on a daily basis, I don't think about. They be like, what you mean? Well, I'm at a different point in my life. I'm just trying to get it. So, like, the stuff y'all think about, when y'all go talk to management, when I go talk to management, it's 2 different things. At certain points in your career, you just got to put your head down and ball.
That's it.
Like, you got to, I'm in my drive phase. I ain't coasting. Listen, people talk about, some guy hit me up, he said, what are you doing with your 401k? I said, I didn't even know I had one. At this point, what you talking about? Like, I still got time to go. So Greg Newsome, yeah, you might not really want to be there today, but like you said, when you start to win ball games and you starting to show, you already got tape showing that you could play outside, right? When they start shifting you around, moving you around, and the Browns are successful, guess what? They're going to have you looking around. They say, man, this guy, we can bring him up. We got the number 1 corner on the board. He'll probably leave in free agency, but it is what it is.
Let me tell you who stay working in professional sports. Who stays working in professional sports? Those that can do multiple things.
Yep.
You can do a number of things. You become a valuable asset. The longer you get in the tooth, he can do that. He can do this.
Yeah.
He can do that. But when you're a one-dimensional person and that dimension runs dry, you're going to run dry.
Go ahead, Mikey. What do you got?
So we can officially close the saga on this Stainbrook, Schefter, Newsome debacle this morning. Brad just tweeted out this. Steve, take it full. He note-zapped it. I would like to apologize to Greg Newsome regarding my latest report. My goal is to be accurate and correct, and today I failed to view the entire picture, and instead I jumped the gun. To be 100% clear, I was told Greg Newsome wanted to be traded. I will never reveal where I got that information from, but I would have never even reported it in the first place if I didn't trust where I was getting information from. I am confused on why someone would lie to me regarding that information, but I will continue to improve and learn from this mistake. Again, I apologize to Greg Newsome regarding this report.
Hey, good
Brad
for him.
Stainbrook. So good for him for
Good
owning
for
up
him.
to it.
A lot of guys, and he's a young up-and-comer, and good for him, and I wish him the best. And nobody should just try to destroy his career for this. He made a little mistake. It's not a tragic mistake. And I think a lot of people won't, admit when they make a mistake. Good for him.
And listen, here's the thing, and here's what here's what I would talk to him about. I learned this one way. Well, I didn't even learn the hard way. I just learned it. I said, look, when, there's all kind of people that behind the scenes will give me information. Mm-hmm. What I do is I go to the Mary Kays. I go to the Darryl Riders. I go to some of those individuals and be like, hey, are y'all kind of hearing this? What you think about this? Right. Do you know this person? How well do you think this person is reputable?
Right.
And even if they got some conflicting information, at least I know. Because here's the thing. Those guys been in the game. If you know about it, they know about it. Right?
In most cases.
In most cases.
I did break the Terry Francona story.
If you know about it, they've heard at least some whispers of it.
Nobody had heard it when I mentioned it. Nobody.
That
was my story.
Adam the Bull is Willy Wonka.
And then 6 months later, I tried to break another story, and I was wrong. I said Monte Ball was going to sign with the Browns. I was wrong about that. But I admitted I was wrong. I had a bad source on that.
You're wrong.
And I've never tried to break news since then. I'm like, all right.
It's okay.
We hear stuff all the time. If we shared everything, like if I meet guys I really trust, I may tell them some things off the record. But like there's a lot of things we learn that we can't say, and Brad will learn that, and good for him.
It'll mess.
It's all right.
If we told y'all, it would mess your whole perception of life up. You wouldn't like football. You wouldn't like sports no more. We tell you, hey, hell, it messed me up for a little bit. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I gotta
some
be
bad
like
stuff.
That,
and just the Johnny Manziel stories alone.
Working hard.
I could write a book on things I've heard about Johnny Manziel.
Oh man.
All right, Mikey, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to swim it over to some Cavs-Knicks playoff preview and a little draft here in a sec. But that whole first segment was brought to us by PCC Airfoils because it essentially was, and by the literal definition of it, what the internet was saying. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, check out PCC Airfoils then. They are the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, full benefit packages, paid time off, and signing bonuses. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Bull, would you like to set up this draft, and how do we want to determine the draft?
All right, guys. So, as we said earlier, Cavs in the playoffs for the first time since LeBron left and for the first time in 25 years without LeBron. And I think, I think it was you that said this recently. It's like it's the first time going into the playoffs in a very long time where it's not championship or bust, right? With LeBron, even when he was young, it felt like if you don't win, it's a disappointment. I think, before we get to the draft, I don't know. I feel like if they win this series, everything else is gravy to me. I don't know. Do you guys agree with that?
Well, I agree that this is the next step in evolution.
Yeah.
You know, there's a team that has not been in the playoffs since LeBron left.
Right.
A lot of these young players have never seen or smelled the playoffs. The first step is to get one under your belt. That's win a series, not just you got a first. The first is that you actually made the playoffs.
Yes.
Now the next evolution is to win a series.
That's right.
And then anything from there, Bull, is great.
Right. I
Now,
mean, we can't. Nobody. If they lose, I guess if they got humiliated, but basically, if they lose to Milwaukee, I'm not going to kill the Cavs. They're supposed to lose to Milwaukee.
Here's the way it usually works. This is exactly the way it worked for me. I got a divorce. I was looking for my first date. I got that first
at the same time.
Like at the same time, it was close.
Real close.
Like when it was like, oh, this not gonna work. I was like, I was excited. I said, I'm 30-something years old and I get to go out and date whoever I want. I didn't realize that the game was that tough out here. So then you had the first date, right? Like you got somebody to say they went on a date with you, right?
Yeah.
So when you get to that date, you be like, oh man, this is great, man. This is, you know what? Listen, and then you go back and you tell yourself, who winning? I'm winning this one. I'm up 5. I'm the one with all the stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm tall, I'm dark, I'm handsome. Yeah, I'm winning this one. I should win this relationship, this situation. So you win, you get something on the board. You're like, yeah, I'm on the board. Then you bat over your head. You may get a second date with somebody else, but now they winning. They got a job. Their car look a little different. They look like they've been working out more than you. And they use all the right words. And when they go to a hot restaurant and you done went up top, you all over at Blue Point Grill. You spending all your little cake. And then she hits you with the, you got a couple years, young pup. Holler at me when you get you some checks up underneath your belt. And you're like, and at that point, you fine. Because all you wanted to work. Listen, she decided to go out on a date with me. It really ain't no L like that. That's the Cavs. You got a Knicks team.
Is that a gentleman's L?
That's a gentleman's L. That's a gentleman. You listen. She laid you down softly.
Yeah.
She could have said no. I'm not going on a date with
ghosted you.
She could have. She could have punted on the whole thing. But guess what? If you beat the Knicks, you feeling great about yourself. You're back into the. You are now relevant because now. You get the Milwaukee Bucks. These games is all 7 games.
Yeah.
And don't have it go 6. Don't have it go 6.
Well, if I beat the Knicks, then I'm looking to be greedy. Now I'm energized.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm energized.
The expectations change as you go. But nobody should be crazy about this. Mikey told me he sort of heard one of the hosts on my old station You still work at the Fan, of course. Say the Cavs are way better than the Knicks. Give me a break.
Let me tell you something.
No.
That's crazy.
I heard that talk, and I was like,
Yeah.
this here. I think the Cavaliers will win it, but a 4-5 matchup
Yeah.
is typically one of the better matchups in the first round.
Are any of us going to be stunned if the Knicks win this series?
No, because it's a 4-5
You'd be
matchup.
disappointed.
It's a 4-5 matchup.
Yeah,
It's going to be.
yeah.
Listen, because I listen to the New Yorkers, right? Because I hear the New Yorkers think they like, if we lose to Cleveland, we're going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
This is exactly what they're
absolutely.
saying. This is exactly what they're saying up there.
It's a must-win series for both teams. Like, I have friends back from New York that feel the same way that my friends from Cleveland do. It's
Yeah.
going to be disappointing if we don't win this series.
They're like,
The
how
Knicks
can we
fans
lose?
feel the
They're
exact
like, how
same
can we
way.
lose to Cleveland?
I know. I think, as someone who lived in New York, I'm not a Knicks fan, but as someone who lived in New York and has lived in both places, I don't know if that matters, but I think it's worse if the Cavs lose than the Knicks.
And then Stephen A. Smith was on NBA Live the other day, right? And this is what he says. He said, because he's an avid Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he said, let me tell you something. If the New York Knicks lose to Cleveland and Donovan Mitchell
From that
is
perspective.
responsible for doing us in,
Which would probably be the reason.
right?
Yeah.
It's going to be all holy hell for them in New York.
He said that on our show when he came
That's
on.
true.
He
That's
said,
true.
this is what's going. He said,
Yeah.
this cannot happen.
Yeah,
Brad,
from that angle, yes, I get it.
I don't know. This is the most interesting thing. I've seen it happen before. I went to that guy
Yeah.
last year.
Well, Brunson-
that dude.
Brunson came in here 2 weeks ago
Like, you
and
see what I'm saying?
laid it down.
So my thing is, I have no clue what to expect from anybody other than Donovan Mitchell. Not one. No. I just don't. Like, I don't know if Mobley is gonna what is he gonna do? I don't know if Darius Garland is gonna be.
Are these guys going to be timid?
The game that's going to be the game of games is going to be game one. Because now you're going to see, because New York, if they're smart, going to try to punch you in the mouth and get you, right?
Yeah.
So will we be ready for the punch?
And won't they go into it? I mean, there's just so much you could do. And we'll get to the draft in a second. But if I'm the Knicks, and again, this is easier said than done, but if I'm Thibodeau all week, I'm saying, we just don't let Donovan Mitchell beat us. Force everybody else to take the big shots. Again, may not be possible to do that, but that's got to be the game plan.
And Thibodeau's good at that, by the way.
Yeah,
He's
right.
one of the better defensive minds in basketball at forcing you into doing something you're not accustomed to doing.
Yeah, it's gonna be
that
fascinating.
trap, I'm telling you right now. Listen, they are going to make them guards give that ball up. They gonna blitz them off that pick and roll. They gonna trap them. They gonna make sure. That's why I'm trying to figure out what Darius Garland has to be aggressive. He has to be aggressive in this game.
There's no question.
And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win a couple games in Cleveland. The Cavs to win this series are going to have to win a game in New York.
Easily, for
Yeah,
sure.
At least
They're gonna have to
yeah.
win a game in New York.
All right, guys. So let's look at the two teams. If we were combining the Knicks and Cavs to make one roster, we're going to do a draft of the top 10 players. All right, we'll go. In which order do you want to do it?
So we randomized, Anthony and I just a second ago,
Yeah.
made a list randomizer, which we did 10 randomizations between you three.
Go ahead.
So the official order we're going to go,
Yeah.
and this is in snake order. Brad, you have first pick.
Okay.
Bull second, G third.
Okay,
And then
so
backwards.
we go 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, and then you guys will pick
And we have the 10th.
the 10th
correct.
player. Okay, Brad, start us off.
Donovan Mitchell,
That was pretty
that's
easy. I don't
very
think
easy.
there's any debate on that.
very easy.
All right, now for the second spot, I think there's an argument between 3 or 4 guys even, but it's a tough call. I was thinking about
Second is the toughest
I
position.
think I'm going to have to go with Julius Randle, ultimately, because he's the best big man scorer.
He's going to make an All-NBA team.
Right. I thought about Mobley because I want to get my best defensive player, but I'm going with Randle in the 2 spot.
Real quick, G, before you go,
Yeah.
does anyone have any serious objections with Randall at 2, G or Brad? And if you have objections with any pick, let's hash it out.
I think Jalen Brunson is the number 2 guy in the series.
I think there's a couple there's number 2s out here. You got Randall, you got Garland, you got Mobley, you got Brunson. I think all
Yeah.
4 of those could be a 2.
Right.
I don't
It's
have
a good debate
I don't
for-
have no problem with it, especially if you projecting somebody gonna bring a little different a different energy in the playoffs.
See, because I'm not sure what Randall looks like in the playoffs, right?
Right.
I've seen him self-destruct himself too.
True.
So,
But right. I mean, we could say it about all these guys outside of Donovan, really.
Hey man,
Who you going with the 3? You got 3 and 4, G.
This is tough.
That ain't tough.
Give me man.
You just said you take Brunson at 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Brunson at 3. I'm
Don't
talking
put
about.
words in his mouth.
I'm talking about 4.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need 2 guards, but man, give me.
And this is not creating a team, G. This is just ranking the best players.
Okay.
Oh.
This
all right.
is not
so
creating a team. This is
sorry,
ranking your
we're
best
just
players.
ranking. I said we're creating a team, but
okay.
ranking the best
This
players.
is very close. This is Darius Garland by a smidge. He's a guard. He's gonna have the Brock in his hands. I'm gonna go by a smidge. He's more approved. He's more accomplished of a player right now at this point.
Before you go, Bull, now
Yeah.
we've seen 4 picks. Mitchell, Garland, Randall, and Brunson, 2 for each. Would anyone argue Mobley should be over Garland or Brunson in that situation?
I could take.
if we're not creating a team and we're just ranking them,
We're just ranking the best
I
players.
mean, I think all 4 of those guys right now are better than Mobley.
Yes.
And Mobley's certainly better defensively than any of those guys.
Yes.
But in terms of the of his offensive game, and I was going to say those guys are great passers, but for a big guy, he's a pretty good passer too, actually, Mobley. But
and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just asking questions.
yeah, I
mean-
think Mobley belongs in the conversation, but I don't have a problem. with
Garland is averaging. Garland shooting 41 from 3.
it. Yeah.
He's averaging 21 and about 8 assists.
Yeah.
He's shooting about 48%
Yeah.
from the field. The dude, and he shoots about 86, 87, 88% from the free throw line.
Right.
You got to look at a cat like that.
So does that make Mobley your
I
next
think
pick?
I
though?
think Mobley's the obvious choice at 5. He's the next guy on that second level, I think. So I'm going to go with Mobley at 5.
So that rounds out the first half of our draft. Brad, you're going to have back-to-back picks here, but just to recap, Mitchell went 1, Randall 2, Brunson 3, Garland and Mobley round out the top 5 of the 5 best players. We took 3 Cavs, 2 Knicks. Brad, you have back-to-back picks, number 6 and 7 here.
All right, for 6, give me Levert.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Before you go to 7, let G and Bull respond to Levert being number 6 here.
Ooh. So you got LeVert over Allen.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more critical to what's going on.
Man.
And RJ Barrett. And Emmanuel quickly. Just throwing out names here. Just throwing out names.
Here's
I mean, them dudes is all right. They not no showstoppers.
Here's the reason this is a very interesting one, and I can't argue with Brad on it.
I can.
Here's the thing.
Well, come on, Mikey. Let me see who's
I'll let G go first.
Yeah, bring me your smoke so I can shoot it down.
RJ Barrett averaged almost 20 points a game.
LeVert is a dude that can get 50.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett can't get 50. Jared Allen can't get 50. And if you're looking at it, if you're trying to build your team, you already got a defensive
Well,
guy.
but we're supposed to be. He said rank
He's
them
just
based
ranking
on
the best
best
players.
to
It's
worst
not creating
player,
a team.
not necessarily for the team. For a team.
Listen, I would have went with Jared Allen, but I'm not mad at the rationale behind Karis LeVert. When Karis LeVert is on, he on.
I personally would put both Barrett and Allen over LeVert. Go ahead, Mikey. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to go with a wing, just looking at traditional stats, Barrett averaged 19.6 points, LeVert averaged 12.
We're not going by position. We're going by player, right? Not
I know.
going by
True.
position.
I'm saying
true.
traditional stats, but they're both wings. So you have one guy averaging 20, one guy averaging 12. Barrett averaged more rebounds, 1 less assist. And then you go to their
He
defensive.
plays more, right?
3
starts.
minutes, 3 minutes
Only
more,
3 more
33
minutes?
minutes to
Okay,
30.
that's not a lot. That's
And
not
then you
big.
go down to their defensive win shares and all the advanced metrics. And Barrett
right.
is essentially
All right. Well,
dead
it's not
even
your
there.
pick
So-
though.
But guess what? It was Brad's pick. That's why he gets to pick
the
it.
guy. So LeVert. All right, you got one more pick.
So my next pick is Allen at that point. That's my 6-7, right?
Okay.
I got the here. Let me be transparent and clear. The Cavaliers, I got them winning against the Knicks in a close series.
In 7?
In a close 6-7, right? Series, right? Because neither one of them. Because this is what you're going to find out, Mikey. when the bright lights of Broadway actually come on, right, you're going to see who's going to melt. You're guaranteed that somebody's going to melt.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what's going to live in infamy. Now, I say it'll be more Knicks players melting than Cavalier players.
Let's hope so.
Right. Yeah. And I think that the only separator in this entire thing is 45 for the Cavaliers. That's the only separator here.
Yeah.
That's going to carry them over the hump here. Right.
Yeah. Like,
Thankfully, he ended up with us and not
Right.
them. At 8, to me, it's easy. I'm going with R.J. Barrett at 8. I think he's much better than anybody else still left on the board. So, pretty simple. I don't know. Anybody have a problem with that?
No, I don't.
I do not. G, you have picked 9.
so they done got everybody off the Cavs is off the board. Who the last 2 starters for the Knicks?
Quigley and I don't start, but you got who's in there?
You got
Quigley.
Josh Hart,
Give me
Emmanuel Quickly,
No,
Quentin Grimes, Mitchell Robinson.
No. Give
That
me-
Josh
give me
Hart. Is not-
Josh Hart.
That Josh Hart is not to be diminished.
No. He's hitting jumpers. He's hard nosed. He can
Yep.
defend.
He been in playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually, to be truthful,
He could move
That's
up.
a dude
He
that-
could bump up.
that's a dude that you look back if the Cavs lose a series and be like, well, we was doing cool, but Josh Hart killed us.
Mike, do I have this correct? Is he shooting 52% from 3 since
Yeah,
going
but he
to
only
the
takes 1.5 per game. He doesn't shoot threes.
Okay.
But he would be the perfect fit in Cleveland if they're able to give him a deadline. He would have been an ideal addition.
Yeah, he gonna be. Give me him.
He would have been a nice ad for the
So
Cavs.
He was a nice ad for them.
So I will tell you who's not going to melt under the lights of Broadway. Josh Hart's not
Okay.
going to melt.
Won a championship at Nova.
Not
Is
going to
no
do
stranger
it.
to
He's not gonna
the
melt.
big stage.
Will not
So-
melt.
So Josh Hart goes in at 9. So you guys taking Quickly at 10?
We are taking Emmanuel Quickly, the 6th man of the year, favorite in the NBA, averages 15, 4, and 4 off the bench, also a steal and a half. And with that, we are split 5-5
Yeah.
down the middle.
Let me ask you this.
Cavs and Knicks.
If Brad had not taken LeVert and those other 4 guys had gone 5 through 9, would you have taken LeVert at 10, or would you have taken somebody else?
I would have taken LeVert. However, I do think you can make arguments for a couple other guys. I lean towards LeVert because he's actually had a little bit of playoff
Right.
experience, and what you guys alluded to, he can go off for 50 at any point, and he may or may not be a swing guy in one of these games. But you look at the numbers, a guy like Quentin Grimes for the Knicks is shooting 39% from 3 on 6 3-point attempts per game, averages 12 points per game, right in the same line as LeVert, different stylistic players. If you're going to go with Mitchell Robinson, 10 rebounds, 2.5 blocks per game.
He's not bad.
He could be a difference maker.
Yeah.
And then I also think, as we talked with Jason yesterday, Danny Green's going to play a role in this playoff series. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I wouldn't put him on the top 10 best players on this list.
Yeah.
But if we're going top 10 most important, I think Danny Green really does have a role in that
Man,
list.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to coaching too, man. I keep going back to this. Ty Lue was able to pull so many strings in those playoff runs, even when the Cavs did not have the best roster. They would say, okay, just figuring out how, like, and even the philosophy, like, they figure we can't out small ball these dudes, right? So what we need to happen is we tell LeBron and Kyrie we need 40 apiece.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and usually when you telling them we're gonna play iso ball, you're dead. But he said no. In Game 6, actually this happened to be, I think it was Game 5 out in Golden State. It was an elimination game before they even got back to the house. He said we need one game at a time. I need 40 apiece from y'all. Everybody else, move out the way. And just, there's going to be out of bounds plays. There's going to be some different things. And his rotation is going to be key. Because somebody, like OG says, somebody going to melt. And if you catch a
Maybe
melting,
more than one guy.
if you see that popsicle sitting on that schoolyard bench and it's 85, you better get that popsicle out of here, because guess what? It will melt. They need to be having guys ready, and I'm ready to go with veterans too.
Yeah. Speaking of LeBron, you mentioned LeBron. They're playing tonight. Anybody think there's any chance the Lakers lose to Minnesota?
No.
Wait,
Minnesota.
not only are they playing Minnesota, but Rudy Gobert is suspended
Yes.
for punching Kyle Anderson. Jaden McDaniels is out for punching a wall and breaking his hand.
Yep.
Lakers are healthy, right?
And the Lakers are healthy in Los Angeles.
They're an 8.5
So,
point
so
favorite.
Mikey, who suspended him? Was that the Timberwolves or was that the league?
The
No,
Timberwolves
Timberwolves.
suspended Gobert. It was Adrian Wojnarowski's weirdest tweet ever. I I'm not going to say the words explicitly, but take the other one, Anthony. Show the actual
He called
punch.
him
We'll
a
show you the
female
play.
dog, and he didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Steve, you can take it full. This is the punch that got Gobert suspended. They were arguing in a huddle, him and Kyle Anderson. Anderson said, grab a rebound, you B-word. And, yeah, that happened. And now Gobert's suspended.
And listen, he shouldn't have called his teammate that.
So first of all,
But it's not reasonable to punch him after that.
Well, first, Gobert said, you need to grab. No, he said, Anderson
need to
said, why
grab
don't
a
you some
rebound.
block some. Anderson said, why don't you block some shots?
man, let me tell you something.
He said, why don't you get a rebound?
Let me tell you something. So all of us the weakest ever, right? Because it happens all the time, right? So it's not like the first time ever in the history of the league that teammates had a little altercation, right? And it usually comes back together. I think the guard from Ohio State,
What's his name?
that's at Minnesota now.
D'Angelo Russell?
Came from Utah.
Conley.
Yeah, Conley. I'm sorry,
Mike
Mike.
Conley,
My bad. I drew a blank. So Mike says after the game, he said, "Man, we're grown men. This ain't nothing. It's nothing, right?" And I'm saying to myself,
wait, hold on, Brady. Are you saying the talk's nothing or the punch is nothing or both?
I'm saying both. I mean,
Okay.
it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It just happens, right? And it just happened on TV in front of people.
Yeah.
But it happens. So people act like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. I'm like, let me tell you something. You ain't seen the worst thing ever.
Yeah, that's silly.
Right?
I mean, it ain't.
I can't.
Gobert's been a big disappointment there.
Yeah,
though. He has not played well.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Minnesota. Well, I can't believe Minnesota because Minnesota throws gasoline on itself all the time.
Yeah.
You've been in.
I played there
You've been there.
two tours.
Yeah.
Right? All the time. I'm like, I'm not suspending Gobert for this when I got a chance to, because the Lakers can be taken down. Yes, they can be taken down, right? And I said here. So now I'm going to lessen my ability to do that now. I can deal with Gobert after the season.
Right. Why? I don't understand why they would self-suspend in that case.
And he
Unless
sometimes
his
it's
teammates
addition
didn't
by
want him to
subtraction.
play.
Hey, look,
Is that
bro.
possible?
Hey, listen. And my thing is, listen, or you could just let him shoot the fair one, shoot the fade. Like,
Look, man.
listen, like you hit me out here. Listen.
That punch there wasn't worse than Draymond Green's.
Oh no, listen.
And he didn't get no suspension.
No, hold on. Draymond,
Right.
Draymond, I might be waiting on him. I might invite him and his family out to a nice dinner and sleep him right at the table at Olive Garden.
You gonna ambush him?
I'm ambushing him at Olive Garden. He gonna be right in the face down and plate of linguine. Like, he be like, what happened? You gonna hit me in front of my wife? Yeah, I sure did. You thought I forgot. I told you I was gonna get you.
Bull, I can't understand this.
Yeah.
So that was worse than Draymond's?
Hey, it was horrible.
No, it's not. I don't understand. It's not a big deal. He shouldn't have. I don't know why the Timberwolves suspended him, but he's had a bad year. I don't know. Real quick, we got Pete Prisco. 10 seconds or less. Atlanta at Miami tonight. Heat favored by 4.5. Who you got in that game?
Oh, I got Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, I'm not betting against Spoelstra in a one-game playoff.
And that Hawk team is
They're terrible. Go ahead, Mikey.
It is
Break
12
that
o'clock, which means it is officially
up.
the lunch
Yes,
hour of
that.
the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and the lunch hour of UCSS, as always, is sponsored by Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. And joining us now, making his UCSS debut, is Pete Prisco, NFL Insider.
Hey,
How you
Pete.
doing today, Pete?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good, Pete. Thanks for
Good.
joining us. We appreciate it.
By the way,
go ahead.
real quick, Olive Garden for Italian? What are we doing? Come on.
He's not real Italian.
Hey, listen.
He doesn't know.
It's unlimited breadsticks, Pete.
No.
They got the salad, but you put the cheese on the top. No.
He doesn't know. Excuse him. He doesn't know. He does not know.
You know what? That's a bad job out of me because I missed that, Pete.
Yeah,
I
you let it slide.
I missed it. I didn't even.
Come on, man.
It didn't even click in my head that you said Olive Garden. That's a terrible
Hey,
job
listen,
out of
man.
you.
Listen, you get some breadsticks in there and stop.
That's not even real
And
Italian food.
That's what Peter's Sun Devil, because I see the Sun Devil helmet behind him right there. Right.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
They're
right.
playing
Sun
football
Devil.
over there.
Yeah, we can't go to Olive Garden.
No,
we gotta get some
they
good
aren't.
places. I don't know. What are you gonna do? It's not. What's your Pete? Where do you live? I don't even know where you live. Do you live in New York?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, Fort
No,
Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
I mean, is there any good Italian
But there's
food
a lot
in
of
Fort
New
Lauderdale?
Yorkers here, so there's a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot of New Yorkers here, so there's a lot of good Italian food. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough. I always think of Florida as not having great food, but I guess I'm wrong about that.
No,
All right.
no,
Things,
it's
You're
good.
wrong.
things have changed over the years. Pete, obviously want to get to some Brown stuff, but let's start with Lamar Jackson. There seems to be speculation now that Odell Beckham Jr., who somehow got $15 million guaranteed, which is insane to me, means that Lamar is going to come back. I don't see that connection. Are you buying this?
Well, where's Lamar going? I mean, that's the problem.
Oh, that's
and
fair.
Everybody keeps
That's
talking
fair.
about it. And he said, "Oh, I want to be traded." You're available to all 31 teams right now. The problem is the Deshaun Watson contract, and he wants that contract and above it. Well, the Ravens have offered, from what I heard, to make him the second highest paid and the second most guaranteed money, and he's turned him down. Well, nobody else out there is giving it to him. Nobody's lining up to sign him. So what's he going to do? What are his options? Get to know Odell Beckham, because the reality is you're going back to Baltimore, and you're not going to sit out the season. He's made $32 million in his entire career. He can make $32 million next year, and what's the point of sitting out? You have to face the same situation the following year.
So hold on. So I didn't know this. What you said that they offer him the second most guaranteed dollars.
That's what I was told.
And the second
That's
biggest
what I was
contract.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
He wants Deshaun Watson. He wants Deshaun Watson's contract, and he's not getting it. That's an outlier.
Pete, the problem to me is this, and I'm a former player, right? The problem to me is this: he doesn't have a mouthpiece doing the leg work for him, right? That's the problem, right? And I get it. You trying to do it yourself. You want to keep it in the house. Your family. You don't want to pay the fee. I said there's a purpose here, right? Because I'm a firm believer in the right mouthpiece. This thing would have been done a minute ago, right? Because it would have brought both sides to the table and said, here's the deal that works for everybody. And everybody walks away. All you have now is a lot of animosity here, and I'm trying to see how it's going to – tell me how it's going to get resolved here.
Well, here's the other thing about that, and I've actually talked to people in the Ravens building about it. When you sit across from your quarterback and negotiate with him, you have to bring in his negatives. He hadn't finished the season in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it's hard to do. Anybody who's negotiated a deal for themselves, even in the workforce, you don't want to hear how bad you've done. You want to hear, I'm good, right? And so I think that's tough. And here's the other side of it. If they gave him too much money, then everybody says, oh, they were soft on him because he's their quarterback and he's a guy they love. If they don't give him enough money, then they took advantage of him because he didn't have an agent. You can't win in that scenario. So I think what the Ravens did, they put it out there. They tagged him, non-exclusive tag. And they said if somebody's willing to give him that guaranteed contract, the fully guaranteed deal like the Browns did for Deshaun Watson, then we can come back and we could match it if we wanted to and say, hey, we didn't do it. We just matched the deal.
I think we've already seen that the Watson contract, and we're happy if it screws up the Ravens the Watson contract. We'll see if it's going to screw up the Browns. Obviously, last year was a disaster because he was suspended and he played like crap. If he continues to play like crap, it's a total disaster for the Browns. My assumption is that he'll play a lot better, that he'll be closer to the guy in Houston. But until we see it, who knows? But I think what will be interesting is, if they get done this offseason, the Joe Burrow contract, the Justin Herbert contract. Because if those guys, especially Burrow, who nobody can argue to be ahead of him except for Mahomes, if Burrow doesn't get everything guaranteed, then really nobody else has a case besides Mahomes going forward.
And I can't see any scenario where the Bengals or the Chargers give out fully guaranteed deals.
No.
I just don't see it.
I don't see it either.
They don't have that kind of cash flow. They don't have the same kind of cash flow. That's a problem. The Bengals, traditionally people have said they're thrifty. Look, I think the Bengals have done a great job. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but the Chargers are a second tenant in the building. I mean, there's no way those two teams are giving out fully guaranteed contracts. Well, they really are.
Yeah, they are. That's why I found it funny.
Renters.
The second, they're like the Clippers. Or the Lakers now. I can't figure out. I can't figure out.
And don't get me wrong, I love the quarterbacks. Now. I love both those guys, and I'd give them as high a contract as you possibly can go. But the fully guaranteed deal isn't happening for them. By the way, one more thing about Lamar Jackson. If you took this on the surface and you said, hey, here's a guy who hasn't finished the last 2 seasons. He has, his play hasn't improved from when he won an MVP. You can take it and look at it from that standpoint. They haven't helped him at all, by the way, the Ravens, giving him weapons and helping him around that offense. But you know what? They got a good offensive coordinator now in Todd Monken who think is going to help him become a better passer because he's more than capable of doing it. They haven't helped him.
No, it's true.
Pete, I want to talk a little bit about the draft. Is there a chance that there's a run on quarterbacks? I've seen Anthony Richardson, Will Levis is now being talked. We already know C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young were at the top of the board. Could you possibly see a run on quarterbacks from what you're hearing with general managers around the league?
Yes, I don't think there's any question about that. You will see a run on it. Now, will it go 1, 2, 3, 4? That's entirely possible, by the way. And for all the people out there killing Will Levis, look, let me tell you this: Will Levis bashing reminds me of Josh Allen bashing from a few years ago. Nobody, or few. I was one of them, actually, so I got that one right. I've had plenty of misses, Christian Hackenberg being one of them, but I got the Josh Allen one right. I love Josh Allen. And everybody, if you remember back to that, they killed him. He was inaccurate. If you went back and watched the tape, he was throwing to bouncers and bartenders. Passes were doinking off their faces. It was terrible. And when you look at this guy, here's what Will Levis played with last year, okay? First-year offensive coordinator who has since been fired because the offense was so bad. Offensive line wasn't good. Wide receivers, no real weapons. Remember the year before he had Wan'Dale Robinson. Then the running back is not a fast guy. He's a good player. And he was shot up twice in both his shoulder and his foot during the season. And you ask him to go ahead and make a play. Now compare that to C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud played with 4 wide receivers the last 2 years who were first-round picks. 4. He played his left tackle is going to be a first-rounder. His center is going to be a second-rounder. His right tackle is going to be a second-rounder. And the running back next year will be a second-round pick, bare minimum. Now you can compare the two of them. And at one point, by the way, in 2021, Will Levis had Kentucky in the top 10. Kentucky. Think about that. So I think the Will Levis bashing's out of control. I do think they're going to go there's a real possibility they go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Were you surprised that Carolina traded up to the top spot? Because I was. So you were, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not surprised they did it because when you don't have one, you're desperate. They have an owner that has a lot of money. He's desperate to get a quarterback. So I'm not surprised they did it. I just think this is a bad year to do it.
Yeah.
And look, Bryce Young is a phenomenal talent. He's a phenomenal passer, makes all the throws. Doesn't have a great arm, has a good arm, but stands in there, can move when he has to and make throws, keeps his head up. He's fantastic. But he's 190 pounds.
Yeah.
You forget about the height. Everybody talking, the height. Look at it. He's 190 pounds. I don't care what he weighed at the combine. There were reports that he played at about 175 pounds, 170 to 75 pounds at Alabama at times. That's a small guy. Yeah. And you guys, you play in the league. That's tough to hold up at that weight, playing that position. So that's my concern with him. Stroud, again, he played with so much talent around him. It's a hard evaluation. And then you look at Richardson. There is so much to love about that kid's game, and there is so much to hate about his game. He's maddening. Yeah. There's a play against LSU where he goes back into the pocket, clean as can be. And there's a guy coming open on his right-hand side, doesn't see him. What does he do? He leaves the clean pocket and runs for an 80-plus yard touchdown. So how do you grade that? In the context of the offense, how do you grade that? Right. So I think it's a tough – all these guys, Hendon Hooker, he's 25 or 26, coming off an ACL. All these guys have issues. I'll give you a sleeper quarterback down the road. The kid from UCLA. He's the guy. When you look at him, he can move. He's got good arm. People talk about Richardson's arm at the combine. The fastest that anybody was timed throwing a football miles per hour was the kid from UCLA. Wow. And he threw at 62. He tied Josh Allen. I mean, that tells you that he's got some tools, and I think he's a project, but so is Richardson. And yet you look at him, he's not as big as Richardson, but they're both projects.
Where do you think he's going to go? What round do you think?
I've heard good things about him. He's, third or fourth. He's moving up the boards a little bit. I mean, there's where you get – this quarterback class is not great. Next year's quarterback class, Drake May, Caleb Williams. I mean, he's got 2 guys that you think are blue chippers. That could change as we go throughout the season. So I just don't love this quarterback class. How many quarterbacks around this league are win with guys and not win because of guys? There's a lot of them. How many win because of guys are there? You can name them on your hand.
6 or 7.
I mean, there's probably 6 of them. Yeah. Right. Is Jalen Hurts a win because of? He's getting there. The offense helps him. Is Lamar? He was, but can he be now in a conventional offense? Trevor Lawrence is getting there. I think he will be. Did the Browns pay all that money for a win because of guy or a win with guy? That's the question in Cleveland.
That's where we want to go.
Because of, but we got to see it. We haven't seen it here.
Pete, I'd say we need 4,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns from Deshaun Watson. Can you give it to us? Because that's where we need to be at.
That's a big number.
Bull, I was on the radio with you, Bull, remember? And you argued with me about him. And I was the one guy out there that said slow the roll on him a little bit. And you got mad at me, remember?
Yes.
And now you probably agree based on what you saw last year. And in fairness to the kid, he didn't get to play the whole year.
Right.
But based on what you saw last year, you would probably agree more with me with the way I talked about him coming into the season.
Absolutely. Now, I still have faith in him going forward, but to be fair, yes to you, it was a good call. I had no doubts about him going into last year, and I thought he'd be rusty when he came back, but I didn't think it would be as bad as it was. And I have a little bit of doubt. I still think it's more likely than not that he gets back to being that quarterback in Houston, but certainly I can't feel 100% confident in that now. No. Fair.
Yeah, that's got to be a worry for them. It has to be.
Absolutely.
And look, if he gets to 35 touchdowns and 4,300 yards, they're going to be a deep playoff team. Let's put that out there, okay? But the question is can he get to that?
He better. With all they
for that money, he better.
Yeah. He certainly. What did you think of their offseason in general, Pete? What do you think of how they did this offseason?
They made some really good moves. I think when you looked at their defense, getting Tomlinson's a good move. Okoronkwo is a really good. By the way, keep an eye on him. That's a sleeper free agent signing. I really liked him. His tape last year was good. I think playing on the other side of Garrett will really help him. That's a great signing. And I've always been a big fan of Juan Thornhill. I think he kind of solidifies the back end. So I think they've had a good offseason to help that defense. This is going to be a team when you look at it. And I look through their position groups and everything. They don't really have a glaring need. I think you got some guys you'd like to get. I mean, if you guys are probably would agree, they probably could use another wide receiver. I think, don't you? I think they could use another threat there.
I
the
love
linebacker.
That.
Linebacker. To me, linebacker's the area.
Yeah. Those are the two.
Yeah.
But I think you can never have enough big guys up front either. But I think when you look at it, they got lucky at center last year because the kid got hurt and then Posick went in and played well and now they brought him back. They had injuries on that offensive line. I think the left tackle needs to play better. He wasn't good last year. That was a major concern for them as well. Yeah. So I still think they have a lot of talent, and in that division there's teams with a lot of talent. I think the Bengals are really talented.
What are your thoughts about Kevin Stefanski? Is he on the hot seat if they do not make the playoffs this year or come close to it?
I think history would tell us he's on the hot seat. I think Kevin Stefanski is a good football coach, but again, we can't really judge him based on what he's had so far at the quarterback position because even last year, like we said, he didn't play, and then when he came in, he was going to be rusty. So this is the judge Kevin Stefanski offense and judge him as a head coach this year. If they're, because we know they're going to run the ball. They can run the ball. They've always been able to run the ball. When they're healthy up front, they're going to push people around in the way they run the football. And so I think that'll make it easier on Deshaun Watson. I think in turn, if he has that season we talked about, then Kevin will have a good year and they'll have a playoff year. If Watson struggles, that's, it's going to be bad for Kevin Stefanski. I mean, let's be real. And that was a move made from above. You guys know that. That move was mandated from above, and now you have to see how it plays going forward.
Pete, let's wrap it up with the former Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Baker, to me, we still have a percentage of our fan base that, because Baker won one playoff game, thinks he's the next coming of Christ, I think. But I think Baker's just a guy. I don't think he's going to make Tampa. He is definitely at best, a wins with, not a wins because quarterback at best. Do you think he has success in Tampa, or is this his last year as a starter and he becomes a career backup?
Well, he's got to beat out Kyle Trask first, and I think
true.
He will, but he does have to beat him out. And talking to people in Tampa, they were excited about him, and I saw a bunch of them at the league meetings, and they were excited about him. And one of the things they said, look, you can get to 9, 10, 11 wins with Baker Mayfield. Why would you go out and spend all that money on Derek Carr? And right. I kind of agree. They're all lumped into that pool together, the win with guys. And so I get it from that standpoint. Here's what Cleveland has to answer. Okay, you have Baker here not making a lot of money, and you have Deshaun Watson up here making a ton of money. Is there that much of a difference in terms of how they play? You would say yes, It wasn't last year, though. Let's be real.
No, it wasn't.
If you don't get better, there's not a significant. If he doesn't get much better this year, there's not the way they played in Cleveland. There's not a significant difference.
That's fair.
But I'm kind of with you. They're win-win.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually even say that Baker at his best played better than Deshaun Watson played last year. However, Deshaun Watson in Houston to me is way better than Baker. If we get that guy, then it's huge. If we don't, the Browns are screwed for the next 5 years, basically.
It's bad if he doesn't come back and have those season like we talked about. That's bad for the Browns, really bad.
Total disaster. Pete, thanks for the time, man. We appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right, guys, take care.
Awesome.
All right, it's Pete Prisco, CBS Sports. Good to chat with him. We got Jeremy Levine in the house. We'll talk about the big card collectible show this weekend that we're going to be a part of. But first, let's send it to Mike, and we're going to get some baseball talk.
We got to do a little Guardians before we bring on our card show guests. And as always, the 12 o'clock lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is sponsored by Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. Guys, the Guardians took game one from the Yankees of their series yesterday. It was close down to the wire. Bieber came through in the clutch after a rocky start. How important was it for the Guardians to pick up a win early in the series with Bieber on the mound before playing Cole tonight, and then game three, obviously?
Yeah. I mean, I never want to get carried away about one win, guys, this early in the season. So I don't want to go that far, but I will say that, like, the beginning of the game,
it looked bad.
Torres walked, then Judge, I can't even remember exactly what, but I know Stanton got the double. Right? 4 batters in. It's 2-0 Yankees.
Rizzo.
Second and third, nobody out. Okay? So not only was it 2-0, but it's second and third, nobody out. And then Bieber basically gave up nothing the rest of the game. They got out of the first. I think Gleyber Torres got a double in the second inning. One or two more batters reached. But he basically just, it was like, oh, yeah, I'm great. I forgot for a second. It was a great, because you start off like that against the Yankees, you're thinking you're getting blown out. Yeah. That was a great job by him. And then Karinchak, who had to bail out Miles Straw. Did you guys see that play?
Boy, when he misjudged the baseball?
Well, yeah, in the 8th inning, it was the 8th, right? Yeah, 8th inning, 2 outs, nobody on for the Yankees. And who was it that hit it? I can't remember now.
Was it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank now, too. Hold on one second.
We'll look it up. I can't think of who hit it. But somebody in the Yankees hits a line drive to center field. It's obvious it's gonna drop. Now, if the run's going to score, I don't know. There's certain circumstances where maybe you want to dive. With 2 out and nobody on, you let that ball drop and you hold the guy to the single.
That's it.
I'm sorry. This is my bad. It was not 2 out, nobody on. It was the leadoff hitter in the inning. I can't remember who it was, but it was not 2 outs.
That counts as fake hustle.
Yeah.
If you dive for a ball,
and it wasn't close.
And you didn't have a chance, no.
It wasn't close, and I was wrong about 2 outs. It was the leadoff batter. And so instead of a leadoff single, it's a 1-run game. It ends up being a triple.
No.
Now.
It was Torres with no outs.
Oh, that's right. It was nobody out. Torres led off the inning, gets a triple. So you're thinking, first of all, Torres got good speed. Right. All you have to do is get a decent fly ball. But Karinchak credit him because he's been not great so far this year. Runner on third, nobody out, a 1-run lead. He got out of trouble. Clase was great in the 9th, and they took care of business.
Boy, listen, I don't. I've been trying to, I'm the Duke of knee-jerk.
Yeah.
Y'all been trying to work with me on being tempered. So
it's hard.
It's hard. I give them to, like, Memorial Day.
Yeah. Josh Bell?
No, the whole squad.
Well, the squad's playing well.
I know. The squad's playing great.
Yeah.
But here's what I expect. As we just had another individual go to the.
Savali went on the injured list. The pitching staff, the rotation's a concern right now.
Yeah. I'm looking to tread water. If I can be 500, maybe a couple games here or there, 4 or 5 games above 500, I'll take it. I'm not going to kill them for it. They just going to have to figure out ways to win baseball games every single way, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Zach Plesac is your number 3 starter.
That's crazy.
That's not good.
That's crazy.
That is not good. I know he pitched well.
Quantrill is number 2 then.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that situation. Now, it's temporary. Savali hopefully won't miss that much time. They did now something I got to clarify for a lot of people who don't know this. So yesterday, the Guardians transferred Tristan McKenzie to the 60-day injured list. That doesn't mean 60 days starting yesterday. It means 60 days starting the day he initially went on the 15-day IL.
So he didn't have.
So he doesn't have to wait 60 days from now.
It's another 45,
roughly. But we knew he was going to miss But we didn't know for sure he was going to miss 2 months.
I saw it.
Now, it's still a lot of time.
That's a lot of
Best
time.
case scenario, best case, he's pitching the first week in June. And my guess is we don't see him before at least the middle of June.
He can be activated May 29th is the
Right,
official
so
day.
Wow.
But
he
he's
needs
not
another
getting
week
activated
after
that day.
to get acclimated.
Right.
It's
He's
the
not
Guardians.
getting activated
It's the
May
Guardians.
29th.
They be putting training wheels on people.
especially with him. He's slight. He's young. They're not going to – we'll see him in the middle of June probably. So now you got 2 months with no McKenzie already. Now Savali, who, had
15-day disabled.
He's out. He's missing 3 starts. So it's a little bit of a concern. I was already a little worried about the starting rotation. But they continue to play well. They're going to be relying very, very heavily on Bieber. He's got to pitch great every time out. He did yesterday to settle down against that, Yankee lineup that's pretty good.
Gaddis, we need Gaddis to step up.
He pitched well, Gaddis' last start.
We need him to step. The big fella got to step up. And listen, I ask again. I've been pounding the table.
Yeah.
When is one of these young thoroughbreds gonna come up here? Like we might if they continue to pitch well because Bybee was almost throwing no-hit baseball the other week.
He pitched great in his first start for Columbus. I texted Zach Meisel yesterday. I was like, when I saw the Savali news, I said, they calling up Bybee? We going to see Bybee pitch? And he goes, man, you were obsessed with Bybee.
I am too. What are you talking about?
Let's go.
The kid is nice. What do you mean?
Zach said that he thinks whoever they called up yesterday, I can't think of his name. I got to look it up. Whoever the guy the Guardians called up yesterday, that he may start, but he thinks there's a chance it'll be Bybee. He's only made 1 start above AA.
It's kind of tough.
But he's got nasty stuff. He pitched, I think he had 7 strikeouts in 5 innings in his first start for Columbus. Didn't give up any runs, only 4 or 5 base runners. We'll see. But overall, the Guardians are playing well. They have moved Andres Gimenez up the lineup, which I think we all like to see. Josh Bell had another bad game. Again, you got to be patient. This is baseball. I get it. Everybody's getting antsy because that was the big free agent pickup.
I ain't say nothing about Josh Bell.
You texted in our text chain, you like, everybody was getting on Watson after 6 games. Well, essentially, Josh Bell has played the equivalent of 1 football game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because 6 games in the NFL is like 60 games in Major League Baseball.
I told you, I'm gonna give everybody to Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Don't mean I'm gonna give you the Memorial Day in the chat.
We need
in
more
the
from
chat.
Josh Bell. Josh Bell's been
in the
off.
chat, that's different.
He's struggling.
He is beyond super. He's batting like 079. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, listen,
I'll take just 1 bat, Josh. I don't need 6 bats.
He's
Give me 1 and get some hits.
He's pulling off the ball. He's not driving the ball.
He's a mess.
He does not driving the ball hard anywhere to
But he
anywhere.
has no confidence in the plate.
What's that, Brad?
Slot to the 5th
said
slot
yesterday?
to the 6th slot.
Yeah, go ahead.
He went to the 4th slot.
Yeah.
5th slot. 6th slot.
Yeah.
That's not trending very well.
No. Go ahead, Mike.
Who said yesterday about Bell that he looks like he's batting the wrong way every
So
time?
no, somebody.
That
said,
was the meanest thing I've ever heard.
I
I think it was Jason Lloyd. He said he looked like he's batting the wrong way,
because he's
no
a switch hitter.
matter which side of the plate he's on. So he got his hand switched.
Yeah.
That's so disrespectful.
It's stupid.
I think he said it on the show, but whatever. That was fun.
He's grounding out weekly to the pitcher. I mean, he's just dribbled down the first baseline. I mean, hopefully he gets there. But I will say this though, they continue to find a way to win. I tell you what, I think the Twins are going to be there all year. I think the Twins are going to be there all year.
I think the Twins are pretty good. I picked them to finish second and make the wild card. But the Guardians are still the best team.
Yeah.
And they did what they do. The sacrifice flies. The run. What, they had 5 stolen bases in the game last night? They run the bases. Go ahead, Mike. Was it 5?
I wanted to ask about the stolen bases and the
Yeah.
home runs because we talked about the Guardians expecting. Steve gave 184.
Boy, Will Brennan had another RBI yesterday.
My guy.
By the way, Mike
My
Zunino,
guy.
this is not a joke. Mike Zunino already has more doubles than Austin Hedges had all of last year.
He did.
Already.
That's
It's
crazy.
true. And Zunino had 3 of the 4 hits yesterday.
Yeah.
The Guardians 1 through 7 hitters yesterday.
Nothing.
0 combined hits.
Yeah.
That's why I said it was a game that
I mean,
on paper
yeah.
you don't think they win.
They won it. That's true. No hits from 1 through
0
7.
hits through their
Yeah.
1 through 7 hitters. And Steve, pull up the graphic, 184 real quick. I just want you guys to take a quick snapshot of this. Through 11 games now, this is where the Guardians rank in Major League Baseball. They lead the league in stolen bases. They're dead last in home runs. And they're right in the middle of batting average and RBIs. G. Bush, this is what you've alluded to every time we've talked. Guardians,
Yeah.
nothing seems to change. They've
just the pace
addressed the
level.
lineup, and it's early. but the numbers are still exactly where
I would hate to play the Guardians.
Yeah.
Because you can theoretically play the Guardians and come away feeling good about every single game. You're like, how did we lose?
Yeah.
We hit home runs. They didn't hit any home runs. They only had like 4 stolen. They had like 4 hits the whole game, and they won 3-2.
Playing the Guardians is
terrible.
like you're in a fight, okay, with weapons, and you have a knife, and the other guy has a piece of paper, and he's going. And it's death by 1,000 cuts.
And you bleed out in the middle of the street.
Yes, all of a
like,
sudden,
how?
I'm like, I got the knife. I'm going to kill you, obviously, but then I'm dead.
You just all
Then
of a
I'm
sudden.
dead. That's what it's like playing the Guardians. You're like, outside of Ramirez, you're looking at the rest of the lineup and say, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Single. They do all the little things. Nobody can bunt anymore. But besides that, they do all these. They are so good on the bases. That steal.
They even slide good. They even slide good.
Yeah.
Who practice sliding nowadays? They're like, move your body while you slide.
They
right
do
over here.
all the little things well. The power will come. Listen, we know the Guardians are not going to be a great home run hitting team. We know that.
No.
We need them to get to the middle of the pack. I think they can. It's been a slow start with the power, and they're going to need it. But it's good that, the batting average, in 3 days, they could be 10th.
I just was giving you a snapshot.
Yeah, I know.
But by the way,
Tough tonight with Garrett Cole against them.
By the way, I disagree with Jason. I don't know why. I saw at Washington, and I got extremely excited. I was like, ooh, the Nationals, we don't see them.
Oh, they suck.
I know they're terrible, but I get to see the Guardians play like other teams. I love interleague play for some reason. I don't know why.
No, I do too. And by the way, part of the reason the Guardians haven't hit home runs, Seattle is a pitcher's park. Oakland, which is a dump, is a pitcher's park also. Yeah. Now they don't have any pitching, but and Cleveland's been cold, so the ball hasn't really traveled that well.
So this is a question. This is the outside fans. This is fringe guys.
Yeah.
When you create a ballpark, who literally says, "Hey, I need center field to be I need center field to be 425.
Yeah.
I need left field to be 310, so everybody can hit home runs like this Yankee Stadium." Like so. Who's creating these rules?
I don't know who the specific person on the team is.
And can you make it anything?
Within reason, I guess, yeah.
I think there are guidelines you have to fit within G, but
I
think as
long
as
you can't have a 200-foot
well,
left
no, but I think
fence,
as long as it's 300 feet, you could have any dimension. You can make your walls as high as you want.
Yeah.
If you wanted,
that's the great
if you
thing
wanted
about
a 700-foot center field, why not?
Crazy.
That's one of the great things about baseball is the field. Every field is different, unlike basketball and hockey and football, where the field's exactly the same.
Which is strange.
It's very strange.
How can you just wake up and be like, yeah?
Well, and some of it is weather, right? Like, or in Colorado, the ball travels because of the light air.
Well, go to Boston.
Go to Wrigley Field when the wind's blowing out versus the wind blowing in. It's like 2 completely different ballparks.
So why don't you do this based on how much money you make or how much assets you got as an owner?
Yeah.
You say, all right, signing major league top-notch pitchers is very expensive. So here's what we're going to do. We're putting a wall in left field. It's going to be bigger than the Green Monster. And every dimension is 400 feet. Nobody's hitting the ball out of here. We're going to play with AA pitchers, and we're going to keep everything in front of us and play defense.
Yeah, but you can't. No hitter would want to go there.
You don't. Who cares? You just play like the Guardians. Singles.
If you think the Guardians have a hard time signing free agents, imagine trying to get Josh Bell to go to a park with 70-foot walls across the outfield.
You still got to score to win.
I'm using
do that,
small ball.
Yeah, but like you look at Colorado, for example, like everybody thinks their fences are short because there's so many home runs. Although that number has changed.
Yeah, actually,
they don't hit home runs there like they used to. But they had deep fences, but the ball would just carry. So. I mean, you want a green monster all the way around the field? No home runs? That's bad for business.
Hey, I want to.
Chicks dig the long ball. Don't you know that?
Listen, if I ain't paying nobody, I got to create. We got to go play in this green. Everything is a green wall.
Yeah, but if I don't have to pay the pitchers, I got a bunch of scrubby pitchers. Everybody's hitting a double off the wall. Double.
Hey, man, this will take a long time for you to win. Them doubles, leaving people. I'm just saying, it's weird that there's no council that says no. we're not gonna let you put that up.
Last night,
I'm surprised that it's gone this far, right? There should really be some uniformity to it.
Right,
so that-
like
I love it.
I like the
I
differences.
love it the way it is, but I do love all the new rules. Is everybody enjoying the new rules?
love them.
so far, so good.
I've been
Love
watching
the new rules. The game has better pace.
I've watched every game.
I'm waiting to see on this pitch count, on this pitch clock, how many pitchers end up on the IR.
Yeah, people have been, I don't know that the numbers are any different from last year. I got to look into that more.
Numbers of what?
Yeah. Have there been more pitchers that have gotten hurt so far this year?
I think it's too early to
Yeah,
tell.
I think it's too early to
but
tell.
after a month, we'll have comparable
Yeah, I'm
data,
not
but
buying
after
that
a week and a half.
I'm not buying that it's because of the pitch clock.
And they've rolled out this bull. If you're on the internet, if you're watching on YouTube, they've rolled out the baseball games. And I'm not sure because they're doing this because of the Bally's thing and not being able to watch.
Yeah.
But you can watch a baseball game.
you can watch the Guardians on the app now?
You can watch the Guardians, like, their highlights of the game.
Oh, the highlights.
10 minutes.
You got to be able to watch it on the app, though. That's got to be fixed. They got to do a better job getting baseball more accessible to average fans. Mikey, go ahead.
It is 12:30 on the dot, which is the perfect time to remind you guys it is the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, sponsored by Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. And while we are on the topic of promotional events, let's tell you guys about memberships, because memberships are a great present and a exclusive club to be a part of. For just $1.99 a month, you get loyalty badges, custom emojis, members-only community posts. For the $4.99 a month tier, that is the coaches tier, you get everything in starters tier, plus overtime videos, member shout-outs, discount codes for merch. You can text with Jason and other select members of the UCSS panel throughout the show for select Cavs, Guardians games, and more. It is the big baller tier. Bull, I don't know the answer to your question. I'm talking. I don't have three hands to text you back, so I can't answer your text and talk in the microphone at the same time. But we are now here to promote what we are doing this weekend, the Greedy Card Show card event that we're going to be a part of. We're excited.
It's going on starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Jeremy Levine is here. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Steve Greenberg.
I was not prepared. I told Jeremy Levine was going to be on with us. Jeremy, how are you? Steve. Are you the big man in charge of this weekend?
Co
big man in charge.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But Steve Greenberg from Greeny Sports Cards, and we're going to do this big show in Independence.
Well, we're excited to be a part of it. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are the hours for all 3 days?
So Friday is like a VIP preview, so customers can come in 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Saturday, it's 10 to 6, and Sunday, 10 to 4.
Okay, and we are going to be, there's going to be panels, a lot of different media members from all the different media outlets commingling. This is like a first.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, that's the biggest thing you've done. Do you know how difficult it is to get all of the different entities together? This is crazy. I don't know how you did it. I don't know I don't know if you threatened somebody or you have incriminating photos, but this is awesome because we've never. I haven't had this before.
Now, I'm not going to talk to any of the sports guys from the other stations.
That's okay.
I'm just kidding.
You can interview the
I'm joking.
people.
But yes, it's great that everybody's kind of mixing it together.
We came up with this idea. I do sports cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy does advertising and the radio, TV, print.
Yeah.
And we merged it together to have all walks of sports. I mean, people love sports in general, whether it's cards, listening to you guys talk, reading the newspapers, and I mean, it's a perfect complement for everything.
Let's get down to some real questions.
Yes, sir.
I got a Jordan rookie card.
I bet you do.
Basketball cards are not worth as much in general, are they?
No, they are. They are.
I got a
well,
Jordan
especially
rookie
the guy that he may
Especially
know.
Jordan. Yes.
In mint condition.
Yes. It's signed.
I'm lying. I don't have it.
I know.
And when they was floating in front of me, I was like, don't with them damn cards. Get out of here.
Now, look, I will say this,
I'm
though.
mad I ain't
What's
grabbed
that
them
Jordan
cards.
rookie worth?
Signed?
Signed is really good, but there's different degrees of what they're worth depending on the condition.
Right, sure.
But I mean, it can
I see
be
it mint.
in the thousands to 100,000
Wow.
if it's in the perfect 10. Yeah.
I might be breaking into Brad's house later.
Well, no. Look, I don't have it. I said, I do. I don't have it.
See, I was looking at this card show came up. Now, I'm kind of a little bit of a strange guy. Like, I was like, So do you have Pokemon trading cards there?
There will be.
Oh, my son is into that.
There will be. There'll be Pokemon. There'll be Magic the Gathering
huge.
cards.
That's
Man.
huge.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This
How many people-
Yu-Gi-Oh,
how many people
wrestling.
How many people are you expecting?
We're hoping that several thousand people make the trip down and check us out.
It is a very fun hobby.
Yeah.
You know, so for some people it's big business, obviously, but it's a fun hobby. I know when I was a kid, like baseball cards were it.
Absolutely.
And I loved football, but when you know, you'll tell me if it's changed. When I was a kid, nobody cared about football cards. Nobody cared about I didn't even know if there were basketball cards. Baseball cards were it.
Yeah.
That when we traded them, we played games with them,
Flipped them.
We did everything. But a buddy of mine who's actually produces my podcast, he's a big collector, and he tells me football cards are really worth a lot now. Is baseball still number one though? Even though football is the most popular sport?
It's kind of hit or miss. Like they make more baseball.
Right.
But yeah, football and basketball are wildly popular. I mean, basketball is all over the country. I mean, you know, we do a lot of internet business, and we're shipping cards to Europe. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, basketball is worldwide, and obviously the other sports are too. But basketball is really collected worldwide.
There's
So what are the steps for when if you're collecting cards? What is it that people who are interested in really, you know, not just collect them to have them? You got something to collect them for the monetary side of it, right?
Absolutely. There's, again, different reasons. I mean, you collect them because you like the teams, or, you know, you'd open packs of cards with your dad as you were a kid, and you collect the Indians, now the Guardians cards. But
of course, you
investments
get that
too.
disgusting piece of gum.
You do.
Do they still sell the packs with the gross gum?
They do not.
The gum is gone.
The gum is gone.
That was for those who
But
don't know.
I'll bring you a pack with gum from the 80s. I'll bring you a pack.
I would like it.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to try that gum and
Absolutely.
see if it's
We'll do
as
that.
awful as I remember it being.
We'll have some there.
you know?
You remember the gum?
I remember that gum and Big League Chew.
Yeah.
Now,
My son's got Big League Chew at home right now.
There you go. There you go. See, I'm a little more of the younger generation.
Yeah.
When you talk about back then, we used to have the Beckett, right?
Yep, still there.
So the Beckett used to come out and used to get these cards. And used to think everybody think they got a dope card until they realize that it's a side card. You be like, this is really not a Don Russ. This is not really a top, Flair. Or there's not. It's like one of them like generic cards, right? And then so they bring it to you, and you're like, well, no, this is generic. Do people bring you their individual cards and be like, hey, what do you think this is worth?
Yeah, we do that. We appraise cards, I guess what you call them. But yeah, what you're saying, cards that may be fake. Michael Jordan's rookie card, is probably one of the most fake cards out there.
I bet.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, Steve.
Yeah.
There is, so I know that, I don't know if this is still the case. There used to be a thing where, like, mistake cards were worth a lot with baseball, or you had the Billy Bean, not Billy Bean, Billy Ripken had we can't say it on the air, what it said on the bottom of his bat. Wasn't there like a Bump Wills card on the wrong team? You remember Bump Wills, Maury Wills' kid?
Yeah, and, I mean, they're errors. They correct them or they don't.
Now, I have a very unique.
Look at him.
See how that transition went.
I have his radio transition.
I have a 1999 card of me as the play-by-play man of the Batavia Muck Dogs with a misspelling of my last name. How much is that worth?
Well, we can look that up. I mean, there's got to be. You can find everything on the internet.
I'd say I'm not telling people.
That's the nicest spot.
You
can look that up.
Was the picture for that card taken when you were calling the game from the toilet?
No, I was not on the toilet at that time. I was standing there with my Muck Dogs jersey and a bat, actually. Yeah. And they misspelled my name somehow.
Bull?
Yeah, well, they were using my last name at the time. So let's talk about the panels and everything that's going on with that. Because in addition to the cards, which obviously tons of people coming out for that, a lot of people also want to come out to see all the sports people in town.
So we're building a theater much like this, where there'll be panels and there will be, the media broadcasts, and then we have like college players and coaches coming in.
That's cool.
Who's coming in?
So from Kent State, we have Malik Jacobs and Chris Payton. They're on the basketball team. They just made the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Their coach, Rob Senderhoff, will be there. And then the new Kent State coach, Kenny Burns, will be there.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to have some people representing Cleveland State are going to be there.
Yep.
Okay.
We have some minor league teams like the Monsters, Charge, the Captains. Yep. We have the Cleveland Crunch. There's going to be 6 to 8 players from their soccer team.
Okay, nice.
Saturday, Slider will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
So
moving around.
Can the kids pay to punch Slider?
that is your rookie
No,
card.
you can't touch Slider.
You can't beat
might
up
be a
Slider?
little
No, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, and then the striker team that gets on top of the dugout, they'll be there.
Very good.
We're hoping that a couple other random mascots are walking around.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
What time will our panel be? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Do you know, Jeremy?
I think it's 11, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think about 11.
So who's on our panel? It's me, G, and Mikey, and I think Jonathan Peterlin, right, is going to be on our panel too. So we're excited about that. Jeremy is your partner.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know Jeremy. We work together at the radio station. I know his dad very well. I've been thinking a lot about your dad lately. I mentioned him yesterday, and because he would obviously enjoy this Guardians team and this event. He was a massive baseball fan. Did you know Les? Well,
I did. Coincidentally, my dad was in radio for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And Jeremy and I grew up on the same street in Cleveland
funny.
Heights, and Les and my dad were friends. And,
Yeah, we miss him. We miss him.
Well, I worked with Les.
Pro guys you got coming?
More college guys. Well, the Crunch professional team, but it's more of a college. We want players that'll walk around and mingle with the kids and
Right.
Yeah.
And G was asking you about the Pokemon cards, which those are huge, right?
Absolutely.
Because my son and all his friends are into it. They're always trading. He's like, I got a I don't even know the language. It's a foreign language. You know the language.
I think they call it a deck.
I got a Jigglypuff, right? And I'm gonna or I got
that sounds made up.
Or I got a Geodude, or I got a
Charizard.
Isn't there a Charizard? Isn't there a big? My son was trying to explain this to me that there's a
Scyther.
Like there's a lot of fraud on that market, right?
There is.
You have to be careful with that.
If anything can be faked, whether it's a watch, shoes, cards. Yeah, I mean that's the big thing you got to look out for. And then there's grading companies that will authenticate the cards, and
How is a card faked?
I mean, you just get a printer out there and
they can do anything.
Guys
So,
got a lot
folks,
of time
people that fake the money.
Folks, this is the event. If your kid is into collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, Charizard,
D&D,
it does not matter. This is the event. This is where you get the real thing. You don't have to worry about any fake nonsense. You buy on the internet, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
True.
Yeah.
So you go to this event. It's going to be a lot of fun. You meet people. You meet athletes. You're going to meet all of us. Everybody's going to be out there. A lot of hosts from the Fan. A lot of hosts from ESPN 850. Zach Meisel's going to be there. I know. We're going to be there. It's going to be a great event. We're excited to be part of it. Anything else that we haven't mentioned that you'd like to tell us about?
So, I mean, as far as all the marketing and promotions that we're doing, one really cool thing that's going to be on Friday, won't be at the show, but the Terminal Tower is going to light up green for us on Friday in commemorating the Great Lakes Collectors Convention.
It's going to be a great event. Again, give us for those who may not remember, give us the location and the hours again for the 3 days.
So it's at the Independence Fieldhouse, which is attached to Independence High School.
Okay.
Right off of Rockside Road, halfway between Cleveland and Akron.
That's the baseball field.
Yep.
Right.
So Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, 10 to 4 p.m.
Are you Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
What's a Caitlin Clark card going to be worth?
Depends how well he plays.
No, Caitlin Clark.
Oh, Caitlin Clark. Well, when she makes it. I mean, she did pretty well in the tournament.
Is there a market for any women's sports cards?
Oh, absolutely. WNBA cards, they're huge.
I gotta tell my mom to bring my. See, I got a Joey Bell card, and it says Joey, not Albert.
Not Albert.
And I do have a Kobe Bryant rookie card.
Kobe Bryant's,
But I don't know. I looked it up. It's medium. It ain't no Jordan. It ain't no Jordan. Like, see, the Jordan cards is ridiculous. I got it, and I do have a Magic Johnson rookie card.
What is the hot? Somebody was telling me that Josh Allen is a hot card right now. Is that true?
Anybody that's popular in every sport is hot.
Yeah. So what is the
quarterbacks, of course?
What is the hottest card? Is it Mahomes? Is it
Mahomes in football? Yeah. I mean, in baseball, Adley Rushman's big right now.
It's the young guys.
The young guys.
Yeah, Ohtani's huge, of course. Yeah, but even the Kobe cards sell all the time.
Yeah.
Jordan cards, LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big.
Is it worth selling it or just keeping it?
That's
I mean, do cards do great players always appreciate? Is it like a house or an asset?
They should, unless if they're still alive, they do something that
Well,
brings them down.
Give
But
me to the ones.
Yeah, the O.J. Simpson cards probably aren't worth that much.
Sure.
Yeah. They probably depreciate it.
Actually, that might
Although
be
maybe
going for the
not.
money, right?
He does have a cult following.
He does have the but at the end,
Yeah.
not as
So tell
popular.
me the cards that end up being worth an extreme amount of money.
Rookies.
How do they appreciate to that level?
It's
What drives it?
the buyers drive it. If you go on the internet or you go to these shows,
Yeah.
it's supply and demand.
Right.
If people are buying up every one of Adley Rushman's rookie cards, that's going to drive the prices up.
Right.
So it's
It's just so simple. Market
it.
supply and demand.
that's it. And obviously their performance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, this is the funnest event that I'm actually looking forward to.
It's going to be so much fun this weekend. Everybody come out. Go Saturday. Go Sunday. We'll be there Sunday morning. So, but if you can't make it Sunday, go Saturday.
We're
Have
also
fun.
giving away free tickets.
Yes.
If you go to WKYC.com/contest, we are giving away a 4-pack of VIP passes, 4 VIP passes, plus 20 general admission tickets throughout the weekend. WKYC.com/contest. Come hang out with us. Steve, I got one more question for you real quick.
Sure.
And it's kind of off.
By the way, real
topic,
quick before you ask the question to Steve, are we announcing the winners on Friday, or are we just giving them away? And
Mac upstairs runs the contest.
Okay.
I have no idea how
All
it
right.
works. It's a
Yeah.
whole legal thing. I wish I knew better.
Gotcha.
Steve, when NFTs got hot and like NBA Top Shots last year
Mm-hmm.
or during COVID,
Yeah.
First of all, I don't understand NFTs and really how they work, and I'm not into that world. So how did that affect the actual card game market?
See, I didn't get into a lot of NFTs, but it's basically on performance. And I know it was something with the supply and demand. They didn't make nearly as many.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Are kids still buying packs of cards individually?
Oh, yeah. And there'll be a lot of that at the show. There'll be a lot of
Okay.
packs. They do things where there's like 20 packs in the box. You may not want to buy the entire box yourself,
Right.
but 20 different people will buy packs and they'll split them.
Right.
That's like that. Them digital.
It's gambling.
Like Madden is huge. Like Madden, the only reason Madden is cool anymore is because they sell digital packs. These digital packs of cards people buy to use in the game. That's the whole game now. Like the whole digital. I'm not buying no digital cards.
Oh, man, I'm having
wanna
flashbacks
touch
to
on
my
the whole-
childhood of buying baseball.
ain't doing
I
that.
still have a ton of baseball cards. My son and I have some in a book that are taken care of nicely, some good rookies and all stuff. But I would never sell them because they mean something to me. But I have a box of cards that I need to go through. My son and I started a project of organizing them, but we never got through it. So eventually we will. But I can't wait. This is going to be a great event again this weekend in Independence. It's going to be awesome. Steve, thanks for coming
Good.
down.
Thanks
All
for
right,
having
man.
us. Thank you.
And if you guys want to hang out to the end of the show for another 12 minutes if you'd like,
Yeah.
that'd be great. All right, let's. What do you got for us, Mikey?
I got to remind everyone that Colleague Racing is the official sponsor of the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It is also the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. If you are just tuning in, I'll give you the details on the event one more time. The Great Lakes Collectors Convention, presented by Greeny Sports Card, is taking over the Fieldhouse in Independence, Ohio, from April 14th through the 16th. It's where the passions of sports fans, collectors, and sports talk enthusiasts collide. 50,000 square feet of ball card bliss, hundreds of display tables, card shop live theater with interactive appearances from some of the region's most notable sports media members, including Bull, G, I'm not notable, but myself, Jonathan
becoming
Peterman,
notable.
the other guys from the Fan and ESPN. Great cards, great location, great show. Tickets are on sale now at greenysportscards.com. And as I mentioned, head to WKYC.com/contest to try and win some free tickets. We're giving out 24 free tickets in total, so make sure you check it out. I'm really excited just to
It's
hang
going
out
to be
with
fun
you this week.
weekend.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a great weekend. Did your mom just
My
text
mom-
you about cards?
My mom just texted me. I don't know if you can see this. She says,
Just read it. We can't read that off your phone.
I got Jordan's rookie card. So I'm like, oh, so you got Jordan's rookie card. Listen, hey, everybody, listen, Mom, I don't know Michael Jordan. Brad already told me, don't even ask. Get away from him. Get away from him. He ain't getting it done. You're going to have to deal with that on your own.
I didn't say that.
By the way,
That's your son saying that.
By the way-
I did not say that. I did not say that. Don't you try to do
don't get him in
pooping in your
trouble.
mess over here. Because you going to try to go over there and get the card. I know what you try to do.
I ain't do nothing. I ain't say nothing. I just sat over here. I ain't want no problem.
Brad, I mentioned this yesterday, but I was curious your opinion on this because you weren't here yesterday, obviously. I went to see the movie Air Have you heard about this?
Yeah, yeah.
So for those who don't know, it's the story of Jordan signing with Nike. And I don't know if you're planning on seeing it, but an interesting choice they made in the movie was that Michael Jordan, nobody really played him in the movie.
Okay.
He the character that was Michael Jordan, you never saw his face.
Okay.
You only see the back of his head. It's really the mom and dad are in there, and the mom, according to the movie, it was basically his mom that got him the deal.
Okay.
That she was like that Nike offered $250K.
Yeah.
And that what's his name, Sonny
Vaccaro.
Sonny Vaccaro loved Michael, knew he was going to be the best, and he won over the mom. But that what put it over the top was that Michael's mom said to Sonny, "You got to give us a cut of the profits," and that was never done before this, and that she was the one who changed the game. I don't know if you know that, but is that true?
This is what I remember.
Yeah.
So Michael was enamored with Adidas.
Right.
And so he was Adidas guy, going to be Adidas all the way through.
But the mom made him meet with Nike, right?
And somehow David Falk and ProServe, which was his agency, got involved in this Nike thing, right? And then next thing I knew, it was they were coming up with this shtick. Now, I don't know his mom was behind it like that.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Who knows if it's true?
Right,
it's a movie,
behind
but
it like that. But you have to remember when those shoes hit. The one thing I remember, they were the most iconic because people had never seen. You know, you either played in white shoes or you were in Boston and played in black shoes, right?
You know what they said in the movie? Again, I don't know if this is true. So in the movie, they're creating the shoe, the Air Jordan, the first one, and at first the design was like they wanted to have a lot of red in it, obviously. Right. And one of the guys there said, in the NBA, you can't have, it has to be mostly white, the shoe.
Right.
That's what they said in the movie.
Right.
And then Sonny's idea was, we're going to make them red, and we're going to pay the fine for Michael for every game.
That's how it started.
Did that happen?
Then they came with the white version, the white version.
Yeah.
And then they had a clip on, he was on Letterman. I saw this last night. He was on Letterman. And
who Michael was?
Yes, he was on Letterman, and he was interviewing him about these shoes.
Yeah.
And he was like, I know they're ugly, right? That's what he said. That's what Mike said out his mouth. He said they're ugly, right? And then they were like, the Letterman said, you know, he said, why do you say they're ugly? He said, because you know they got mainly black and red in them. He said, and that's what Michael said, right?
Yeah.
Letterman comes back and said, kind of like the NBA, mainly black.
I will say this:
Letterman was funny as hell back in the day.
Jordan said that the Jordan ones, right? The ones is uncomfortable as hell.
No, I was gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So those shoes came out. They were the freakiest thing because everybody wanted them because you had never seen a shoe look like this, right?
Right.
So you go out and buy those shoes, right? And they were the most uncomfortable shoes ever.
Really?
Remember when he went back in the near the time of his retirement and played in 55 in the Garden in those original Air Jordans.
But he was wearing 45.
And I was like, I was like this. Oh, his feet got to be killing him.
He said he got blisters.
They were awful.
In the movie, when they would, again, this is the movie, so we don't know how true this is, but it seems like based on what you're saying, it's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
There's a scene where the guy who actually had the real person actually died right before they started making the movie. But the guy who was the shoe designer for Nike, and by the way, in the movie they make it seem as if Jordan had not agreed with Nike, that basically Nike would have been out of the basketball.
Oh, they would have.
They had no traction to that. I think Moses Malone was their biggest guy at the time before Michael, and obviously he wasn't making any kind of bet like Michael. But when he was designing the shoe, he said to Sonny in the movie, he goes, "Do we want this to be comfortable or look great?" Or at least what he described as look great. And he said, "It's got to look great. We don't really care how comfortable."
The greatest designer.
So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Greatest designer of all time, Tinker Hatfield, who came up with the iconic Jordans. Like when he was in
He's
really
the guy,
his
I
run.
think.
Tinker Hatfield?
I think that was his name. He died right before they started making
that.
Because
Because I'm going to tell you who had the best shoe out in the market.
Yeah.
Adidas had the best shoe out in the market. It
Right.
was comfortable. It was functional. It did what it was supposed to do. It was high line, high level.
Right.
and then Nike jumps in with this crazy look.
Yeah.
And they got everybody swing on the look.
Man,
and then they just made better product after that.
Burton Magic was a Converse.
Converse.
They were
right?
Converse.
Both of them.
They were awful.
Nah, those were trash.
Actually, I didn't realize that Nike eventually bought Converse because Converse at the time was much bigger.
I didn't know they
in
did
basketball.
that. Yep.
Yeah, they said that in the movie.
Converse was Dr. J to Converse.
And right.
And
it was Dr. J, Magic, and the Magic Bird.
Right.
When you look at all time, that's why LeBron is great. Listen, you know how I feel about LeBron, but there's no greater cultural just feats than Michael Jordan did with shoes. You got to think about it. Kids today are 5 years old. They go to the store and they immediately know. I want Jordans.
Here, let me tell you
Them
something.
is the hot joints.
The funny thing is when we be kidding him about this thing, I watch this thing at Christmas time because my kids are involved in it, right? Because the latest stuff come out, they want the stuff. Mm-hmm. We're paying him
crazy
4 times the amount of what they would cost back in the day for the same shoe that came out in '89, right? And it's the same freaking shoe with a little different twist on it.
And
I like this kid laughing all the way to the bank.
Oh, yeah.
He laughing to the
Brad,
bank.
you got 4 daughters, and I'm sure at some point in time you had to drop that $250.
Oh my God!
4 times.
Oh my God!
Is there still a
specific requests? I need
Yes.
Jordan 4, Jordan 3. I need
with the colors. I need the off-white color joints.
Is there a cultural icon now, or like to me, when I think of cultural icons in sports, I think of 3 guys: Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, and Michael. Is there anybody else?
I know, as every generation, cultural icons, you get Jordan, who still stayed, Tiger Woods, who still stayed, and you got, I wouldn't even see nobody in football, maybe Tom Brady. Like, cultural icons is if you go to Taiwan and people pass out because you went to Taiwan and you're a grown American man. That Michael Jackson used to go to the Philippines and grown Filipino man used to pass, Michael!
Was that why they were passing out for Michael?
Stupid.
Hey, Brad, when you played, what kind of shoes did you prefer to wear? Like when you actually played,
question.
not necessarily style-wise, but what shoe was your go-to shoe when you played?
Adidas.
Any specific model of Adidas?
Brad got Adidas on today.
So there are a couple things. If you're talking about, regardless of whether I was getting paid or not, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if you just had to pick based on what felt the best on your foot.
It was Adidas. And then it was Adidas to a point. Where then when Nike put that pressure on Adidas, Adidas fell off.
Oh,
Their product went like hot garbage.
They went to running shoes, though.
And then Nike took off from there.
Right.
So I used to wear a 3/4 thing at Adidas, right? And so my first contract was with Adidas. I would have worn Adidas without a contract.
Yeah.
Because I wore them all through college at Ohio State. And they were just comfortable and they were efficient.
Contract money good?
And so contract money was all right.
Brad,
right?
What size shoe do you wear?
Now?
Yeah.
16.
Well, what was it then?
15.
So
you always want them a little tighter when you're playing, Brad.
I wear 15s too.
Did they have to make? They weren't making 15s like commercially, were they? Like, did you? They had to make them specifically for you?
No, they were. Well, the shoe company would ship them to you.
You can get 15.
No problem.
I wear 14.
But then
you could wear 15s. They make a couple of them.
But then Nike came out. That's when Nike came out. So then I switched from Adidas. And then I went to Reebok. I was playing under Reebok for a while, and then for 3 years, and then I went to Nike. But Nike came out with this shoe that Barkley had. It was called the Air 180.
Yeah.
And it was, and I remember I checked in the game against Philadelphia.
Crazy.
So I mean, I'm a game in Philadelphia.
You had them
so it's a free throw, right? And so Barkley had these exclusive shoes, the Air 180s. I guess he thought they were exclusive. Right, so I checked this in the game because he was at the Sixers. They were red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right. So I checked in the game. I was playing with the Pistons, red, white, blue.
Yeah.
And so I checked into the game and go to the free throw line up next to Barkley because the free throw being taken. And he looked down. He like, you got the Air 180s on. Yeah, I do.
Hey,
I guess they ain't exclusive, bro.
What'd you play when you played? What'd you play when you hooped?
Who, me?
Yeah.
All J's. What are you talking about? Pat Leathers. What do you mean?
He's offended by that.
What do you mean? Or the Flint, the gray joints? Yeah, man. I played in Jay's Summer League. But by the way, let me stop lying.
Yeah.
Because I had all the pennies, the Air pennies, and then I remember, like, I told my parents
that guy was so big and then he flamed out.
I told my parents that I was going to try to divorce him if they didn't get me them pennies that said air on the side.
Oh, my God.
I told them, I said, listen, y'all don't get me these, you don't love me. You don't love me as a person.
The ones with AIR written on the side.
Look, the Lord, listen, I got them, and I wore them things. We got team shoes. See, at McKinley, we used to play basketball. They give you team shoes, so we used to get like a team shoe. One year we had some Jumpmans, but
so what?
We had some Jumpmans.
No,
it's a
didn't.
difference between the Jordans and the Jumpmans.
No, y'all didn't. Y'all had the low budgets.
The Jumpmans. Jumpmans, the price point is $110.
You had the low budgets.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't support anything he does off the court, but the Kyrie Irvings are my favorite basketball shoe of all time. They're the best basketball shoe I've ever played.
Great.
Kyrie, why you mess?
Why you be
messing?
Hands down.
Kyrie had so many colorways. I got 3 pairs. Kyrie, shout out to him.
We're out of time. Overtime coming up next. What are we talking about on overtime?
Anthony's producing it because I got to talk to our guys about the card show. So Anthony, Dwayne Haskins, more details.
See you later.
Mike, man, I wear fits. Send me some J's, dog.